nigga. I feel like saying nigga today. Oh yeah. I feel like saying nigga tonight. Alright. But when I'm with my son sitting in the park, I say nigga with a hard R. Oh fuck yeah.
Hello, chat. What day is today? It's not a Sunday. I almost said Sunday. It's a Saturday. A day I almost never stream on ever, except yesterday I got absolutely felted by a driver, perhaps Ethan Ralph, who decided that an electrical pole was the appropriate parking venue for his automobile, which had a negative impact in my ability to stream. I also did get a test of my uninterrupted power supply and determined that it is in fact interruptible, which probably is because I had like a 1200 watt power supply unit in my computer, and I didn't even think about that the PSU probably can't on battery alone support that. So I'm gonna have to buy more shit eventually. I will have to buy more shit and actually have a proper streaming setup, but I intend to move again in the near future. The issue was that when I came back to the US, I had to find a place on short notice that I didn't need like any kind of credit report to get into. So now I'm concerned about the imminent explosion of a methamphetamine shack trailer in my vicinity, my proximity. And it is time once again to uproot, to pull up stakes, and take my traveling circus elsewhere, as it were. So let's see. This, if you're tuning in today, you're in luck. You're actually going to get a stream that is just the good part. The Troon segment and the news segment already done, out of the way, pissed off everybody, and now we get to start over fresh today. Some of the people angry at me for shitting on their fucking Oshi are going to be, obviously they've already gotten over it. So there's no concerns there. We're just going to be happy campers today. Let's start off by a little bit of shilling. Actually, before I say that, let me again remind you that this is not a Ricada body cam footage stream. There seems to be some confusion because I'm streaming on Saturday. Once again, that this is the body cam footage stream. On if I'm showing the footage, I promise you there will be no ambiguity. I'm not going to tease people or expect people to tune in. I'm not going to hide it 3 hours into a stream. There will be a nice, dedicated, comfy stream session. I will literally make some popcorn, some microwave popcorn, and we'll sit down and we'll go over it together at the exact same time that I publish it worldwide. So you'll have your choice of streamer to watch if you don't enjoy my commentary. I promise you I'm not going to like blue ball people or paywall it or do whatever the fuck else. However, I will say this. Things are happening. Legal notices are going out. And there are positive developments that have already occurred that will reduce, even in a maximalist doomsday situation, will reduce the ability for Ricada, even in a worst case situation, to actually hide things at this point. I don't want to get too into specifics because there's still things happening, but the damage is already done. I am already getting my way. Not everything that I want already, but some things that I want are being taken care of and put into a position where they cannot be taken back. So I am, again, I am not joking. It's not a lie. The bank account for the Kiwi farms still has $6,000, $400 extra. That's my money, but everything's there, just waiting on it. And I guess as a little teaser, I will say this. I have received a positive development from Harden that there is an interested party helping us now that is significant and will likely get their way. I don't want to sound too smug or too optimistic, because as you know, I'm even though I am a positive poly, I'm a very realistic person. Okay, but the things that I'm hearing right now are all good, and things are moving along as I would prefer. So, no, not Montegraph. You know, when I think about all the things I've done, I think how I handled Montegraph is probably one of the most W Riz things I've ever accomplished. I managed to talk to him, and I think he just appreciated being talked to like a normal person. Because I don't think the guy, it feels like he gets a fair shake. And I think that I feel like I managed to talk him out of suing Medicare and suing us, and um, I managed to get his forum thread in a way that he could live with. That was also like intellectually honest. When I think back of all the Ricada stuff, I think Montegraph was such, and I say that in particular because when you compare what happened with Montegraph with the Kiwi farms and what happened with Montegraph and Ricada, it's like you see how just like a little bit of precaution goes a long way. Jet. Realistic Ricky, that's right. Anyways, enough about that. Let's chill a bit. I was persuaded by a Jewish man to start a Give Send Go for the Kiwi farms. He said Goyim. I keep saying that, and it's one of those things that bothers me. But it's easier to say Goyim than Goy. He's like, because Goyim is plural. He's like Goy with the with the Shiloh Hendricks thing. If you don't take advantage of this, you're an imbecile. You're a retard. I don't like being called retarded, so all right, Jew. All right, Jew. I take your bet. So I started up the Give, Sit, and Go just to see what happens. It has been up for an hour and a half, and it is at $8,700 out of an $18,000 goal. You can find it at givesendgo/Kiwi-farms. Very easy to remember. It's also on the front page of the site. So I'm eager to see if that works out. I'm actually not optimistic about this. I think they're just going to cancel it and refund everybody, but we'll see. The goal is a modest 18,000 because it is 1 year of expenses for the forum, roughly approximated. And if it goes over that, I will put that money towards some server upgrades. If not, the server upgrades will wait until after we get the check deposit thing working, which I had hoped would be done by now. But the bank that I was hoping to work with, that the mail guy already had experience working with, literally does not even return my calls. I called up the senior manager for business banking. I was like, hey, I want to open an account. I need an RDC machine. We're gonna do a check deposit thing. I'm expecting about 600 checks per month. Not literally didn't get a reply. Contact somebody else, left them an email. No reply. So it's like, okay. Any given point in time, I have like 3 concurrent underwriting applications for payment processors, and they all basically deny all the time. However, I have gotten like super gung ho Pro 1A, Pro 2A people on board who are like, they say they're wholly dedicated. They have like 18 different underwriting banks that they will resubmit my application to over and over again until we find one that works. And some of them have RDC machines. So it's a long, grueling, tortuous, uncertain, opaque, miserable experience that I am just constantly fucking embedded in. And every day I wake up and I have a new email asking me, can we get a new bank verification letter? Oh, this bank verification letter, for whatever reason, their underwriting says looks forged, as if I'm going to forge my fucking bank details. Yeah, please send money to this other bank account that's not fucking mine. I had to contact the bank and say, hey, can you send them a bank verification letter? And they said, hey, can we have any do you have any pictures of the merchandise? So I send them 4 different pictures of the t-shirt merchandise in boxes with labels to Matt at the internet, to where they're going, where I have contracts, showing a business relationship to that warehouse. And then they say, do you have any physical pictures of the merchandise in your possession? So I take a picture. I not only have let me pick this up real quick. Okay, you hear this? Those are dies. Let me show you actually what these are. So I sent a picture of this with my fucking driver's license. For whatever fucking reason, I cannot find this even on Google. Dude. Fucking Google. There we go. Okay. These. I have these in my possession now. That's what they are. They're extremely heavy, and they are used as the strike face. They're called dies, and they're used to actually strike the coins. I have them as memorabilia. I had these shipped over from fucking Malaysia. Now I take a picture of these with my driver's license on them on my shirts and hoodies that I have copies of. And I'm like, look, it's all real. It's not fake. I know it's like weird that a podcast guy is selling silver coins, but I have the dies, I have the actual coins, I have the t-shirts. It's all real. So, I'm jumping through hoops, and I don't think it's just so, like, it's so annoying because it's like nobody else on the planet has to do any of this shit. Like, I can show you utility letters to all these addresses. I can walk outside and record myself next to my fucking mailbox. And they're like, well, we don't know about that address. It's been used for fraud before. I don't give a fuck if the meth house next door was used for fraud, you dumb fuck. But it's on my fucking driver's license. Stop giving me shit. But they won't stop, so. Gibson Go is what I'm saying. Is Gibson Go is my stopgap until I can find somebody who's not absolute scum to underwrite my fucking application. All right, enough ranting. There are some small addendums that happened just in the last day that I'll talk about now. I don't know what the hell is going on with this, but this is like the third or fourth big arrest that we've heard about from the FBI just in the last couple months. That's like, why is the FBI now so useful? Why is this happening? 11 people. Chavez, Campbell, Fawcett, Shellhammer, Wong, Anglin, their name, Sampiri, Haskins, Beatles, Longoria, and Naylor. A myriad of people of genders and races involved in the production, distribution, and purchase of monkey torture videos. Federally illegal in the same way that child pornography is, as Animal Crush, which is called Animal Crush because the video that actually prompted Congress to criminalize it was a video. I don't want to explain it. I saw it very, very young on B a long time ago, and it was a viral video that prompted the United States Congress to outlaw animal abuse videos that were made for the purpose of enjoyment. And they are applying this law very, very righteously in this case to stop what I believe is like a quasi-pedophile thing, because my theory is that well, it's not my theory. I think this is rooted in science, but I think that the core tenet of pedophilia is a level of sadism. And monkeys are just human enough where it's like you can read their emotions and stuff. And I think that the people that are into it are like, it's like one rung away from child pornography. But in the U.S., we have a classified criminal, so they're prosecuted as such. Well, obviously, I'm quite happy to hear about this. The monkey thread on the Kiwi farms is one of the nicest things that we actually have going for us. Isn't this crazy that these people are involved? And what they do is they pay people in Indonesia to take these tiny little monkeys that are like the size of a small shitty dog and just do the most horrific things to them. And it's like, this bitch looks normal. What the fuck is she doing? Why is she involved in animal torture rackets? Like, what the fuck? But anyways, it prompted me to generate this image. This nice image, perhaps the nicest thing I'll ever make representing an Indian person ever. Here we have Kash Patel holding a baby monkey, smugly chuckling to himself as 11 animal abusers are sent into a dark abyss for many years. Yeah, very nice. Good job, government. You did something yet again. We're quite proud of you, the American people. I voted for this, etc. Did I vote? I didn't vote. If I did vote, I would have voted for this. Is what I'm trying to say. Next, Carl Jobst. Not to be confused with Carl Jobst. Is bankrupt. He is formally filed in Queensland, Australia, for a debtor's petition, which is the first step in a bankruptcy proceeding, where the debtor's court will take a look at his expenses, his income, and his owed monies and determine what to do. So he probably has a mortgage. I'm aware he bought a house at some point. He has his YouTube income, which is now going to be up in the air because of all the drama around him. And then he has a significant, I think $750,000 or so owed to Billy Mitchell at the absolute minimum. So I think the issue for him though is that you can't. This is true in the United States, but I don't know if it's true in Australia. I imagine it's true in Australia as well for various reasons. But I think that you cannot discharge legal debt, court mandated expenses. Because I know that when Alex Jones was sued for $11 trillion for saying that Sandy Hook was a hoax, that he was told he could not discharge his debt. But I think it depends on case by case, and if it's a business debt or not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It does put me in a weird position because, like I've said before, with Billy Mitchell, he is a true anti-hero. He is somebody who does act in a way that makes you kind of cringe, and it's like, why you gotta be like that? But at the same time, I think the way that Carl lied about him was so egregious that you can't feel bad for him. I realize it's not like a novel opinion, but you really just can't go around accusing people of murder. Maybe I'm sympathetic to him because I have been routinely accused of murdering random people I don't even fucking know about until after either they're dead or they fake their death, or you know what I mean. It's just like that shit does have consequences for people when you just lie like that and it's believed. So I haven't had his hot sauce yet. The mail guy has it. The mail guy has like an odd assortment of shit. I think he has like various coins. I think he has Sven Staffel's new comic book. He has a bottle of hot sauce. He has like a box of like junk that he's been collecting for me for months. And I either go take a trip up to see the headquarters of the Kiwi farms, or I need to have him mail it to me at some point because I imagine it's becoming quite cumbersome. Anyway, that's Carl Jobs. He's not having a good time. This is Blue Fulf. Blue Fulf is one of the most disgusting people on the forum. His drama is that he is a big pop-ufer who has quite a large following, and he's into shit. As I think even there is a video of him in this thread taking a giant shit on a paper plate. I want to say, I think I'm thinking of the right person, and I want to say he eats it. I don't want to say that. I'm like 40% certain that he has eaten shit at some point, but I am 90% certain that this is the guy who shit onto a paper plate, and posted that video to the internet. Is my mic quiet? Here. This might be better. I think this is better. Anyways, so yeah, I think he shit on a paper plate. Now he is having, he's involved, I believe, in an incident. There was a fur convention. This says here, FWA, a convention in Atlanta. Blue Fulf attended the convention in Atlanta, and while it was there was an issue. Apparently, a group of poo-poo furries got together in the public pool and at this convention, and they decided that they would all poo in it together, leaving a poo-filled pool for the normal people who work at this convention center to clean up. Now, this is similar to a very infamous incident at Oregon with rainfurist. And rainfurist had an issue with the baby diaper lovers who, during their convention, would poo in diapers and then leave their poopy diapers throughout the convention center as like a fun game of Easter egg hunts for the convention staff, but with poopy diapers. And it was such a disaster that the convention center manager in Oregon told all the other convention center owners in the area, like all throughout Oregon and Washington, that furries are disgusting monsters And as a result, I don't think any furry conventions can happen in the Pacific Northwest now because they're effectively blacklisted by convention owners because they shit in diapers and dump them all throughout the convention center. Now, this is similar. This is in the same kind of vein where they're shitting throughout the convention center, and they believe it is Blue Wolf because he is a poo-poo pee-pee person, and he is at the convention. Oh, apparently he was joking about it too. And they've made a nice little chalk billboard here that says P Pardim Employee Management Event at FWA. This is the pool with poo in it. POV when Blue Wolf goes to the FWA swimming pool. Blue Wolf that's a blue whale. That's funny. Blue Wolf enjoying pee pee poo poo while thinking about pee pee poo poo. I think they're just blaming it on him, but there's no evidence that he actually did take a shit in the swimming pool, from my understanding. Okay. And that is your Friday furry update. I hope you enjoyed your Friday furry update. Next. Now, I already talked about Sam Hyde's new trailer, and I played it on stream yesterday. And the reactions, let's just say that they were mixed, chat. However, nobody had a worse reaction to this trailer than this tranny called June. Let's take a listen for just a minute.
It's time to take care of Sam Hyde.
It's time, chat. Now, you would think that maybe the Marky posting or Channing Krager's like 10 years of stalking Sam Hyde, that might have brought down Sam Hyde. Maybe when he was canceled by the Adult Swim executives for allegedly putting swastikas throughout world peace and making horrific anti. There is no news hamster. There's no news. What are you talking about? We don't need a news hamster. It's the weekend. He doesn't work weekends, idiots. Anyways, you think any of those people would have brought down Sam Hyde? No, it's going to be June, who looks like this and sounds like this.
It's also time to take care of the gripers, the like cringe little Nazis that have the like Pepe profile pictures, the little frog, the green frog. Pretty cringe, really weird. They talk in baby speak sometimes. Just weirdos, straight up weirdos. We have to end them. And we have to end the Nazis' resurgence just generally. I think we need to end them all. It's time to end this. If you're a normal human being, you've probably noticed an upswing in open Nazism online, pretty much everywhere. It seemed to correlate pretty heavily for when Elon Musk bought Twitter. It started there, but it really started like a new age of the internet where it seems like pretty much every website is a safe haven for Nazis now, especially Twitter, of course. Like that's ground zero of this like current era where every Nazi just feels like they can be very open about their Nazism.
Wow, what a shocker. When people are given the ability to speak freely, they'll say things that are offensive to you. It's almost like that this has been crushed and all dissent banned on all major platforms for the last 15 fucking years. And now it's just gone. You know, it's this sort of weird thing where it's like, I think trannies, because they're like terminally online, retarded, autistic internet people, they just kind of think that if they don't see it, then it doesn't exist, and that people don't hate them and hold resentment if they're not able to tell them on Twitter that they're scum and they just are despised. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, all you're doing is like you're forcing these people to congregate in weird side channels and in person, which is far more dangerous than having people on Facebook like a comment. You know what I mean? No, this is an old video, by the way. It's just, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny how like this effeminate man with a bull ring sitting in front of his snowball mic is like, it's time to end Sam Hyde. Okay, buddy. Okay, but it's time to end the Nazis. I'm sure next year, all the Nazis will be ended, bro. Okay, so this requires some backstory. I've been not really avoiding this. It's just kind of like a slow burn. But a while ago, an A log of Patrick S. Tomlinson contacted an artist, or left a negative review for an artist named Jackie. Not to be confused with Jackie Singh, but Jackie the black person, Black Jackie. I think they also call her Better Jackie, or Best Jackie, to distinguish her from the Pooh Jackie, who stinks and smells like poo and has the hands the size of catcher mitts. Jackie did not appreciate this negative review and looked up the Patrick S. Tomlinson, author of this review, and determined that this person was a white man, a straight white man, who also wrote science fiction. And getting a negative review from a white author was offensive to her because she is a black queen and white men have no reason to speak to her whatsoever unless to give her money or reparations. So, after seeing this negative review, she took to her B Sky account to skeet out to the world about how she was being harassed by this disgusting white Nazi pig who thinks that he's a better author than her, despite the fact that she is melanated and thus superior to him in every way. Patrick then immediately started to grovel to her, saying that it was a troll who left her a negative comment, not him, and that he also info dumped her the entire 10-year history of the cyber stalking neo-Nazi hate mob that has organized around him to terrorize his family into the grave. Jackie, of course, hears this story and thinks, what a load of bullshit. This fucking idiot thinks that he has like an entire secret society after him. That's obvious fucking bullshit. So she says, you, Patrick S. Tomlinson Charles, is a B-U-double-L-S-H-I-T. New words. A-R-T-I-S-T. And then she asks him, was that spell? Bullshit artist. I say again, bullshit artist. And Patrick desperately tried to scramble and apologize to her and make sure she knew. No, it's true. It's all true. I am being cyberstalked by neo-Nazis that hate me. However, once this interaction made its way to the past, they began to inflame tensions by making fun of her, of course, in a pro-Patrick way, which already overloaded by all this information, Jackie, Best Jackie, was unable to process why Patrick S. Tomlinson Child was profusely apologizing for his review that he says he did not write. And also, she was getting all these supportive comments for Patrick, saying that she was a monkey that had no business writing anything at all. Now, obviously, she took the Occam's razor approach to this and said that Patrick was simply afraid of her and afraid of getting canceled, but was a genuine racist supported by thousands of neo-Nazi racists who were pouring into her comments and leaving her negative book reviews. So, she has taken up a personal crusade backed by thousands of people on the B-Sky against this horrific racist known as Patrick S. Tomlinson. And here she says here, in fear for her life, if I am raped and unalived, honey, it's 2025. We don't have to say unalived anymore. It was Patrick S. Tomlinson or one of his ball washers. Please save this thread. So this is her last fanatical, desperate cry as the waves and tides of racism from the Patrick S. Tomlinson sphere crash upon her, putting her in fear for her life, not from the stalker children, but from Patrick himself. She says, if I was killed, it was Patrick. Which obviously is not necessarily the look that Patrick is going for. And as a result of this, he has been blocked on Twitter 900 plus times. It's almost up to 1,000 now. Blocklists in Blue Sky are public because they are federated, kind of federated. So he's been blocked by Tinkerbell the Rescue Cat, a strong black woman, Mathia Moore, Cameron Monroe, Missy, Sally, K for Equality, Rich F stands with Judge Hannah Dugan, awesome name, Hippie Kiss. So these people not big fans of Patrick. Now he's not taking this sitting down. He is still desperately trying to control the narrative, this time by childing all of his stalkers. In the time since the last tally here, May 16th to May 1st, he has said, enjoy prison. How many times? Like 94 times? 192 times in the last 16 days, the first of 16 days of the month. read a couple here, remind people what this sounds like. Again, he's posted messages like this 192 times just the first half of this month. No, stalker, there wasn't. There were shots fired in the Zyder building. Your big threats against Riverside and Miller Park remain on the books. However, enjoy prison. That is one of your many delusions again, stalker. This is why your life is already over. Enjoy prison. I don't have any racism to protest, stalker. You do. Enjoy prison. My name isn't Rick, stalker. That is why your life is already over. Enjoy prison. So, he's trying to rein things in. You don't have a daughter, stalker. Enjoy prison. I'm trying to think of a context in which that sentence would make sense. It's maybe like a prosecuting attorney. This guy's like kidnapped the little girl, and he's like, "No, really, you have to understand, she's my daughter." And he's like, "No, you have no daughter, stalker. Enjoy prison." That would be the only context in which that would make sense. Any other context except that one is inappropriate. Let's see. Only 68 childings? I think he cooled off on the childing because people kept making fun of him. Enjoy prison, he's sticking his guns to you, though. Okay. There isn't a debate, child. You are just factually wrong. Google the Southern Strategy, child. Google the USS Liberty, child. That's correct, child. We didn't care where the traitors came from when they tried to steal our democracy. They were all given due process. You're just really fucking stupid and should never speak again about anything. Delete your account, child. From the IRS, child. The IRS agents who were fired specifically works for tax delinquent multimillionaires and billionaires, child. You know, the people who bought Trump. I like this one for its simplicity. Wrong yet again, child. Only 60. Oh, he's busy because he's losing his lawsuit? I thought his lawsuit was going well. I thought he got past all the bullshit first level hurdles in his case. I haven't been following that too closely, but the last things I heard about that were positive developments for our boy Rick. Not necessarily everybody he dislikes going to prison level, but pretty good for him. I think there's another thing. There is. Oh, this. Oh my God. How could I forget about this? Get this. Patrick S. Tomlinson said something nice about the Kiwi farms. You ready? Virtually Leslie, and this looks like it's on a skeet on Blue Sky, says, he always claims, without a shred of proof, his swatters are on ONA, and if you say it could be someone from Kiwi or somewhere else, he refuses to acknowledge it. He's protecting Kiwi farms, but why? And why were he and his staunch defenders on ONA? So this is Virtually Leslie. I think Virtually Leslie is probably a tranny. And this tranny is probably trying to figure out why Patrick redirects all of his contempt onto ONA and not the Kiwi farms. Now, the tranny, because they're a disgusting tranny, hate the Kiwi farms and expect that more hate be dumped on them than on any other forum like ONA, because ONA is like mostly Patrick related. They have like their own sphere. So Patrick responds to this and says, our swatters are ONA, Leslie. They have bragged about it. I have never been on ONA. How do you know then? That's such bullshit. I've never been on ONA, and neither have any of my supporters, Leslie. Kiwi Farms is among the worst collection of inhuman monsters on the lowercase I internet. And the day Joshua Moon is finally arrested and the site shut down permanently will be a victory for all of humanity. But they are not responsible for swatting us. You're just lying. So he does call us inhuman monsters, and he does not specify which internet we're inhuman monsters on. But he does say that we're not responsible for swatting him, which is a positive development because we're not. So I mean, I don't know. Every time I say something about how ONA is so fucking flippant with how they like ONA gets away with shit because they just focus on Patrick. If they had a bigger sphere, they would eat a lot more shit. But because they're so hyper focused on Patrick, they can get away with a lot more garbage than the forum does. But I don't know. I've seen some pretty fucking suspect posts on ONA. If I say that, I get yelled at. Cool. I hope Pat is doing well. Yeah, I don't believe for a second he hasn't gone on the forum. Like, how would you know about the post? He says I've never been on ONA, but they have bragged about it on ONA. Like, are you peering through like a fucking scrying glass to see these posts? What are you doing? To somehow access this. Maybe he's never been physically. Maybe he's trying to say he doesn't have an account on that forum, but it's obviously a lie that he's been there. Next, I got Russell Greer updates, which of course I have to be very straight-laced about and only say what's happening. Russell says, I had the opportunity to take a road trip this week, business mostly. It's sad that people would rather be greedy and sit on limited land than play fairly and keep a rare market competitive and healthy. I also learned that no matter how kindly you speak to city councils, mayors, etc., they are afraid of change. Both things are going to change. If I had to guess, this is Winnemucca. I'm not sure, though. In fact, I seen Winnemucca back there on that street sign, so I'm going to say this is Winnemucca. This is a remote county in Nevada, which had a pussycat saloon, which was a brothel. And you can see here she is in all of her beauty, the pussycat saloon in beautiful Nevada. And Russell Greer wants to buy that saloon, and he wants to open it up and get involved in an industry as a businessman. So what he has been doing, from my understanding, is that Russell Greer has been a busy boy, a busy bee, buzzing around all of Nevada. And he's been talking to different county and city level tribunals and I don't know what to call them. It's like just one of the like town meetings and stuff. And he's been trying to persuade them to allow him to district a brothel so that he can go into the brothel owning industry. He has been denied at every turn. And it's a mixture of people just don't want it. They don't want a brothel in their community. They don't want prostitutes. They don't want to have the risk of their daughters in their community going into the prostitution business. They don't want to bring the clientele that visit a saloon, so on and so forth. So he's been getting shot down everywhere he goes. But he's been leaving a pretty funny trail of meeting notes because under Nevada law, any kind of city council meeting must be recorded, and county level meetings as well. So there are transcriptions of all of his efforts to get into the brothel industry throughout Nevada that keep popping up on the Kiwi farms because under the state law, they must be made and they must be made public. So he is very frustrated by this. He's very, very unhappy that all of this stuff is getting up on the internet and he's getting laughed at. And I should mention, no, let's save that. I'll read this. So this this was something that Hardin obtained through a public information request to, I believe, Winnemucca. It is Winnemucca. This is a PowerPoint presentation that he put together for his company ID LLC to propose an adult entertainment zone so that he can open his brothel in the city. So let's. I haven't read through this. This is actually a Hardin segment. He has specifically requested that I read this on stream. So I am going to read this on stream. Again, I'm just going to read it as a matter of public interest, as my audience is very anti-pornography, very anti-prostitution as a general rule of thumb. Perhaps they'd like to see some of the business pitches that are being made in the public sphere to try and persuade cities to open brothels so that they may, if they encounter these same arguments in their own lives, their own towns, their own counties, they will have the experience to know how to respond. So, new Winnemucca Adult Entertainment Zone proposal by ID LLC. Overview 1940 to 2019. Brothels operated in Winnemucca from the early 1940s to 2019 in the Bowd Street area, or Bald Street, probably is how they say that. Commonly referred to as the Line. Here we have an old picture of, I guess, the Pussycat Saloon. In the 2019 demolition, quite a fall from grace from the Pussycat Saloon over here. 2019 demolition. Actually, this says something else. In 2019, the new owners who own the Mustang Ranch in Story demolished the 4 houses and have sat on the land. They initially blamed COVID for sitting on the land, but the pandemic is long over and there is no excuse for sitting on the only land in a tourist hotspot like Winnemucca. Is Winnemucca a tourist hotspot? Has anyone ever heard the name Winnemucca before this stream? Has anyone been to Winnemucca? I have to know. because this is a very interesting point to make. That it's a tourist hotspot. No, it's not. That sounds very authoritative. That Bach, the man says that. No, it's a shit town. What now? Okay, seems like the people on the Pacific Coast who know about Nevada and Winnemucca say it's a shithole. So I'm gonna take their word for it. Potential licensing issues. Brothel will be closed by Story County. Also is popular that the Gilmans may also not be able to open brothel, as WC 512-010 says a person can't have a privileged business license if they previously had a privileged license revoked. Gilman's had their Wild Horse brothel license revoked. Is that the other one? The Mustang Ranch. So they have two different brothels still operating at least. Gilman had their Wild Horse brothel license revoked, making their Winnemucca land ownership problematic. So this was in 2011. But I mean, if they have the land, they don't operate a brothel in Winnemucca though. Lithium mines. 2,000 miners will be in Winnemucca from 2025 to 2027. They will need a form of entertainment. So his proposal is we can revitalize Winnemucca by inviting 2,000 horny lithium miners into the town to fuck your daughter. That's my proposal. That's what he says. Solution: zone a second property. Casinos, bars, and dispensaries aren't restricted to one area. Why should brothels be? Because nobody wants to be around them, bro. It's also true with the others, I guess. But I mean, they really strictly control the brothels. Yeah, you can live next to a dispensary. It just smells like weed. We love brothels. Who are we? ID LLC passionately cares and advocates for brothels. We don't seek to use women. Rather, we seek to provide a safe and fun environment for consenting adults. Winnemucca is the perfect spot, but what is the product of a brothel? How do you say that we don't use women? Just say that. Is it a gay brothel? Is it for butt fucking only? Proposed zone would be the furthest right hotel wing of the Scott Shady, and we would parcel off. So he just wants to take a random hotel and turn that into a brothel. That's his idea. Proposed zone benefits. Building already built to accommodate a large number of women and clients. Zoned away from Bald Street to not create traffic jam or rival conflicts. He thinks that his whorehouse is going to be so popular that there's going to be a line of 2,000 lithium miners like wrapped around the street. And then the pussycat or whatever the fuck on the other side of town is going to be like seething at him or some shit. A new zone will benefit Winnemucca. Oh my god. Winnemucca does not look any different from like Breezewood, Pennsylvania. Benefits: increase in tourism prevents a monopoly. A monopoly of a business that's not even in fucking business. How do they have a monopoly? And by the way, state-sanctioned monopolies are a thing, and they are a common occurrence, and it's very common with alcohol, especially. I think in Virginia, they don't even have private enterprise selling alcohol. I'm pretty sure that in Virginia, there is a literal state monopoly, and it's called like ABC or something. And it's the only way you can buy alcohol, like hard liquor in Virginia, is to go to ABC and buy it directly from the state-sponsored enterprise. And then that all goes to, all that profit's like tax income or some shit. Yeah, I think Virginia is like yeah, exactly. I think Virginia is like Canada. So it is a thing. That's not really an argument. Licensing quarterly revenue goes back to city. Yeah, that's true with every license though. Thank you. Are you persuaded, chat? Should Winnemucca open its doors to Russell Greer and his company ID LLC to open this brothel? Here's my question, and I can't answer this because then it would complicate things, right? What does he hope to gain? Why does he want to be a direct owner of a brothel? What does he think will happen if he owns a brothel? Does he just want to make money? What does he want to do? What is his end goal of having a brothel, chat? Because brothels exist. He can go to brothels anytime he wants. He has to pay for it though. What does he think? What does he think he will accomplish? I don't know. It's really complicated. I just don't understand it. You know, it's kind of like the Kiwi farms and like I want to have a hosting, but do I want to go and build my own internet? Not quite. That's a lot of work. And all I'm trying to do is get something for myself, chat. Seems weird, unless you really, really have to build your whole own business. Now there's one other thing that's happened, and I may not ever be able to find it now because started to move so fucking fast. Actually, this was in the litigation. I don't even remember what I posted, to be quite honest with you. If not, if I can't find it, I'll just sum it up. Okay, what I posted, here we go, was a list of emails, and if you want to, you can go to the thread. You can find this thread, and go to greeremails.zip, and these are actually his emails to Winnemucca, and him trying to schedule a conference. It's my understanding that the city of Winnemucca has a meeting every 2 weeks throughout the entire calendar year. Nevada's not really a place where seasons affect things too much. So throughout the entire year, every 2 weeks, they will convene a meeting where the townsmen and business adventurers are able to meet up and discuss the situation and proposed zoning and other such fun, exciting things, right? However, these emails, when Hardin requested emails from one county, Greer became very, very upset, and Greer started complaining, and he filed a motion, and the motion that he filed was extremely irate. It contained an enormous paragraph that was completely irrelevant to the actual motion itself, basically accusing Hardin of stalking him and suggesting that he was attempting to get a restraining order against him, with I guess the hope being that if he was restrained from contacting Greer, that he would be knocked off the case and I would have no representation. That seems to be his strategy. And this was provoked by Hardin doing a simple public records request to a different county, trying to figure out what's going on with the whole brothel scheme. And when Hardin submitted that request and then submitted a request to Winnemucca, we got interesting emails. Some of the emails of which being Russell Greer demanding that the city of Winnemucca do not comply with Hardin's FOIA request, or not FOIA, but public records request. He literally contacted them preemptively and said, "Did this guy contact you? He is a stalker child, and you shall not give him any information related to me because I'm applying for a restraining order, and he's a big bully." The woman from Winnemucca seems to be very, very familiar with Russell Greer. And when she got this news, she simply told him to contact a lawyer because it seems like a legal issue and they will comply with any records requests they get. So they did, and we got some information. In particular, and of great interest to us, there were several emails. Now this is kind of hard to explain. The motions hearing on the 6th of May was at 1 p.m. Utah time. Winnemucca is in Nevada, and strangely, despite Nevada being, I think, like directly south of Utah, it's actually in Pacific time, like California is, which means that they're 1 hour behind. So this email, time-stamped at 12:19 p.m. from Winnemucca, is probably at 1:19 p.m. Utah time, which would mean that Russell Greer was sending and receiving email to Winnemucca from on the day of, in the hour of, live during the hearing for the motions hearing, which is probably contempt of court because you're not supposed to be doing other shit while you're in the motions hearing. In particular, we'll take a little listen here. It's a 4-second clip, so keep your ears open, chat. Let me know if you hear something.
And why you made the statement to the Middle District Court, the Middle District of Florida, made the statement to the Middle District, made the statement to the Middle District, made the statement to the Middle District.
Sounds like somebody's phone going off, probably from sending or receiving emails about brothels in the middle of a court session, chat. Right before the meetings hearing, which was on a Monday, the Friday before, Russell Greer sent in an emergency rescheduling request saying that he had urgent and sudden business that required his attention on Monday at the exact same time as this motion hearing, which was scheduled 3 months in advance. Here's the problem, and here's probably why Russell Greer freaked out so fucking hard at the email request. Um, the emails show that 2 months after the hearing was scheduled and 1 month before it happened, Russell Greer, with the choice of any other week to pick to have this meeting, specifically opted to meet with the city on the exact day of the hearing at the exact time of the hearing. He picked the date and time, and then the Friday before filed a motion saying that suddenly, a month later, he was no longer able to attend the motions hearing because he had urgent business to get to. And then during the hearing, he is conducting business on his phone, which sounds like he attempted to fabricate an emergency and then lied to try and push back something he really, really did not want to attend, of which would also probably be, in the eyes of some, considered, in my not professional opinion, as I'm not a lawyer, might also be contempt of court. So that's a really bad thing. That would probably explain why he was so angry at these records, which just goes to show you that they're completely merited, and not like a fishing expedition whatsoever. So who knows? Maybe there will be consequences for this. Maybe there won't be consequences. I don't get to decide anything. Just some fucking guy. Next. This guy called Innuendo Studios with 500,000 subscribers warns that he quit his job to be a YouTuber and it bankrupted him. He was in $100,000 of debt and he started up a GoFundMe asking for $80,000, which raised $155,000. Now, this Breadtuber, who's a socialist, decided that he was going to live extravagantly at the expense of capitalist pigs and then asked for the capitalist pigs to bankroll him, which they happily did. Because it's communism, I guess. So after this happened, I would not even mention this because it wouldn't register on my radar at all, except that a dear friend of the show decided that he would use this opportunity to try and get a little bit of money for himself. Card posting. Someone who I still can't tell if he's a troll or not, who keeps getting requested as a super chat, watch this video thing. Famously, who made a video about how Sneed's Feed and Seed is a white supremacist dog whistle, decided that if this guy can make $150,000 from doing bread tubing, this guy, who's a real life activist, and that's his main point, he's a real life political, he's an activist and organizer, community organizer. He deserves a little bit of that green cheddar cheese himself, and indeed he decided that he would appeal to perhaps his biggest fans in the world, and here we go.
Everywhere if you want.
Oh, by the way, he also says that he lives in this shed. He says he lives in a 100 square foot shed because he's so broke. So if you're wondering what the fuck this room is, that is actually his bedroom, apparently.
If you're one of the dozen or so guys who comes to every one of my videos to comment, Sneed, or you're running that Kiwi Farms thread about me where you can't decide if I'm cool or not, here's a job for you. I want this video on Joshua Moon's weekly show. Hop to it. And on GoFundMe, when you donate, you can leave a little comment on the page for everyone else to see. If you do decide to throw $1 my way, please leave a comment saying what your political label is, just in a word or two. I just want to see something. I just want to know who is helpful. Thanks, and stay safe out there.
You know, I just realized something. I don't remember where I heard this, but I think when he's talking to, I don't know if that Sneed thing, I think it's like a white supremacist dog whistle.
Hello there. There is a brief and once obscure, slightly vulgar background sight gag involving a sign on a farm supply store called Sneed's Feed and Seed. Around 2017, invoking the name Sneed became something of a popular joke all across the image board website 4chan. And this
That's a Nazi site, chat.
as the meme took to other sites like Reddit, Twitter, and Facebook. It was just a bit of reference humour to this middling 1999 episode of The Simpsons that hinges on potential readers recognising it as such and understanding the reference.
You know, I hold up. I'm making a joke, obviously, that he's using a white Nazi dog whistle to get money, but I just realized
couldn't afford an up.
he looks way more disheveled and dirty now. I didn't realize this because I only see him every so often, but look at the decline. I think he needs like a shower. He can't even like he's wearing like a nice like collared shirt for this, and now he's like looks dirty. He needs a wash. Someone help him. Someone give this guy an extra 100 square feet for a bathroom or something. Poor guy. If you want to give him money, he specifically asked I shill him. There's a GoFundMe. How much does he got? $1,000. He lives in Australia. I thought he was British. Can't believe that. His real name is John Card. That's like a video game name. Like John Card, like Dr. House or Mr. House. Like you have a John Card. $1,000. He can do it. He can get up there. He can get up to the greats. The $150,000 raise. He can do it. He just has to sneed post a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like this is a betrayal. He's like so down bad for money that he's like, yeah, I'm gonna appeal to the Nazi dog whistle people that think that me saying sneed is funny, and by saying sneed and encouraging them to sneed post and to get Dash Sneeda himself to advertise me. It'd be like if I put on like if I had a fundraise for like a house or something and I put on a VTuber avatar. It's like, wait a second. Wait a second. Why is my favorite VTuber now a cute anime girl? What has he done? Well, I feel like this is a bit strange. This is a bit odd to me. This sounds a little bit like a walk back chat. Strange. Anyway, that's the card update. I know you guys love that. Okay. So last stream, not the last stream, but the week before, I had a controversial opinion that you should make sure that you have consent with a woman before you fuck her, because you don't want to be accused of rape because it will fuck up your whole life. And if you're actually even a little bit unsure, you should probably just ask if you want to have sex. Apparently, this was a great betrayal to all men everywhere because bitches be crazy and shit, and you should never ask for consent. You should just walk up to hot bitches and fuck them. There's so many. So my take was when I met with in the halls of debate, seriously contended over am I the most awkward man to ever live? But it was in about this video. About this story that was published by a woman who I've now discovered her username is I like Kim Possible or something. It's along those lines. She's referred to as KP, and she's a small time cartoon reviewer in a ocean where the big fish is this guy called SaberSpark, who was the source of allegation. Now I'll remind you. Her allegation was that she met him in a concert or at a conference for the first time, at a BroadingCon for the first time, went up to his room because he was going to show her his next cartoon review, and then promptly after the cartoon review was finished, he pushed her onto the bed and had sex with her without any kind of foreplay or discussion about if they were going to have sex. He just kind of had sex with her. Then she came back to him months later, and he ejaculated on her face in a men's restroom. Again, with no real discussion about it. Now, the second time is what has led many people to believe that she is simply dumb. And I would agree that she made bad decisions. However, I think that it's probably more common than you realize for a woman to be like assaulted by somebody that she likes and then to try and retroactively make that consensual by forming a relationship. I think that is more common than people would like to admit. If you want to say that makes it okay to randomly force yourself into people, I would simply warn you that is probably not going to progress your life in a meaningful and positive way. However, I think I was pretty fair about this, and I said based off her story that sounded like rape. His response video is good, and it's so good I am 99% sure that he paid an HR firm to actually write it for him, and because he does something that's extremely important that a lot of people writing an apology video for this kind of stuff be able to do. And what he does is he outright completely denies anything. A lot of people, when they get accused of something, they will yield and they'll be like, oh, sure, we hooked up, but we had lots of discussions about it. We had drinks. I made it clear to her that I wanted sex. But, you know, like, they'll just try to make it sound like there's a misunderstanding or she's being petty and vindictive for whatever reason. In this, he does the much smarter thing where he just says she's absolutely full of shit, and he denies it completely. And I say that's the smarter thing to do because I have watched all of Law and Order SVU, and there's a common element in that show where when the perpetrator tries to say like, oh yeah, it happened, but she consented to it. It kind of gets the prosecutor's foot in the door and it leaves things up to interpretation where they can build a case on it. But when they just outright deny that anything happened, unless they have hard evidence to contradict that, they're kind of fucked and they don't really have a place to look or to start building a case. So he simply, and he glossed over it. He didn't go into the details. He didn't say that we met. He said that she is full of shit and he just tries to make her look as bad as possible. And the way that he does that is he shows these Discord recordings where like 10 years ago his editor for his YouTube channel said something naughty. Like, and when I say naughty, I mean like he said nigga or something, and like, or made like it wasn't even that, he made like a joke that was like not offensive 10 plus years ago but is offensive today. And it was basically a struggle session where KP is talking to him and trying to get him to apologize to her for the offensive thing that he said. And it's like a total dress down humiliation ritual where she's like, yeah, say it, articulate it. And it's like, well, I don't know if I have anything to respond to that. I just think that, you know, it's just like really like snotty. It's like, ew, you know, it makes you not like her. And she had been trying to get him banned from the SaberSpark channel. So she's trying to get this guy fired basically, which is like, as soon as you're into that shit of like getting random people fired from their fucking YouTube job because you don't like what they said 10 years ago, it's like, you lost me. I'm off the plot with you right now. The other thing that she did that he points out that really eviscerates credibility is that she teamed up with this other guy that hates SaberSpark. He's like a medium-sized fish in the brony community, cartoon review community, and his name is Brony Fan Don'ts. So like not fandoms, but fan don'ts, as like a portmanteau of fandom and do not. And I think he's supposed to be like critical of the brony community or something. But this guy, Brony Fan Don'ts, despises SaberSpark and has been trying to get him canceled for a long time. So when KP brings out the rape story, he's like, yay, you got raped. So he teases this shit. He makes an hour-plus long expose video about SaberSpark, and they start hyping it up like it's a movie premiere or something, and they literally premiere it with a live chat, and they're like, we're going to have a Discord watch-along. And it's like, this woman is advertising, we're going to be premiering, and like the allegation is like buried 45 minutes into this expose anyways. So it's like they hype this shit up as a this big community event where the feature is rape allegations. And it's just kind of fucking disgusting. And it makes her look like a vindictive hoe and not like a victim. And that's how he kind of wraps this up. And he's like, look, you know, I didn't do anything. She has no evidence. I did anything. She just hates me. She hates my editor. She teamed up with this guy. They did this big event. And she's evil. And it's one of the best response videos I've ever fucking seen, because it makes her look bad, and it gives them nothing to work with. He denies it outright. What are you going to do about it? It's her word versus his, and she looks bad. You know what I mean? So he fucking nailed it. You know, I don't know what happened. I can kind of believe the story, but at the same time, you know, if you're going to accuse somebody of rape, you kind of want to treat it as a somber thing and not like a party. So sucks to be her, I guess. Now, I say it's one of the best responses in and of itself, and that's true. I say this is one of the best responses to an allegation like this I've ever fucking seen. However, it was not just effective, it was super effective. And when you think about how these things pan out, you might think that winning in this situation is you save your career. You get your fans back on board with you, and you're like, yeah, I have confidence that this guy didn't do the thing that he's accused of. Like, that's actually just an A+ rating. That's just A plus. You know, you might think, well, what more could you ever possibly want from this situation than just to save your own ass, right? Make someone look incredible, make yourself look credible, make yourself look nice, and that people should support you again. Getting a true S tier ranking for your response video is to actually drive the accusing party to suicide. And that's exactly what happened. Brony Fan Don'ts' response to everyone turning on him as a result of SaberSpark's response video was to climb onto a bridge and to live stream himself threatening to commit suicide. Here we have him showing the water of the bridge underneath of him, and the stadium adjacent to him from the edge of the bridge. And in case you think I'm full of shit, here we have him live streaming from the bridge.
Just do it. Just do it. You can't not do it. You can't not do it. God fucking damn it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to not do it. Fucking damn it!
No, I haven't watched all the way through this. It's 7 minutes long. Sits down. That's the opposite of jumping. Sitting down is literally the opposite. I think the police get here at some point. Let's see. Oh, we hear a car door. It's the police. Hey, yo.
Man, people are calling about you.
Oh, it's the police.
I'm here to help.
It's our friends in law enforcement.
What's your first name?
All this taxpayer
A
dollar.
lot of people coming to help you, man.
All these taxpayer dollars wasted. He wants to jump, let him jump. I don't know. I've never been sympathetic to suicidal people. I guess it's not a good thing for me in my position to say. It's just like, you know, this world is cruel and difficult. Life is hard. No way to make it any easier. We have a finite number of resources available to us as a species on this planet. And those that do not want to struggle in this world of struggle do not deserve to live. I don't remember who said that. I think it was Thomas Jefferson. It's one of my a quote that's always stuck with me. And it stuck with me when I was depressed, where it's like, you know, he makes a point, that Thomas Jefferson, that there is no in between. Do or do not. There is no try. I think that Thomas Jefferson also said that one. And it's like, you either live and you deal with living, or you don't live. There's no point living and not dealing with it. You might as well not live. My thoughts. Apparently this makes me callous and that everyone needs help every so often, but you know. What does Jesus say? Did Jesus say that he helps those who help himself? I think that's true. It's one of the most true things. You never get anything for free not doing anything. You have to help yourself a little bit for help. Anyways, enough quoting Thomas Jefferson. Jesus didn't say that? Who says that? I'm pretty sure that's a Jesus quote, isn't it? Who said, I help those who help themselves? The phrase God helps those who help themselves is attributed to Benjamin Franklin, who included it in the Poor Richard's Almanac in 1736. However, the concept appears earlier in ancient Greek literature, such as Aesop's fable, Hercules and the Wagoner, where the character prays for help, but is told by a god to act first. The exact phrasing Franklin used became popularized in English, but the idea has its roots in various cultures and texts, including religious and philosophical tradition, emphasizing self-reliance alongside divine aid. There you go. I guess that wasn't a joke. Benjamin Franklin wrote that. Yeah. So as I said, one of the best responses to allegations I've ever seen. One of the most effective, possibly either. I did not do a great service to the Idubbbz stuff, and that like from last week, and that was in part because it was like a 9-hour video, and I know that like Andy Worski went through that shit and clipped it up for Kino Casino. There's no way I could be asked to do that. So instead I'm relying secondhand on Ethan Klein to clip it for me. And one of the things that I saw kind of recently that was H3 reacting to Idubbbz's behavior that I thought was very poignant. That I'll just play this clip. It's pretty good. Warning: Ethan Klein jump scare.
Here he is delivering his villainous speech at the end, right at the end of his stream, trying to do a cautionary tale to set me straight or something. I don't know, but I think it might hit a little close to home for somebody else, and I'll let you decide who that might be.
They don't have the same fucking stubborn nature that I do. They don't have the same interests as I do. They inevitably become their own worst enemies. They inevitably cook themselves. You might think you're riding high on the slop for a little bit. You might think you're getting showered with praise. An army of anonymous Redditors telling you you're brilliant. But at the end of the night, when you go home and you sit down and you look yourself in the mirror, you're not going to recognize who you've become. That's it. It's turning into a lolcow of a different variety. That's what I think.
That's so mean.
Was it?
No.
I mean, I think it's, well, I mean, I guess the truth.
Accurate.
I think the
I
truth is
genuinely feel bad for Ian. He brought his ass out here as like the most smallest footnote of the night, puts his ass in the cuck chair, and then humiliates him beyond recognition.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare.
You can say that again. You know who's in the corner back here? We're off camera. Anissa. Because she's the real cuck, and she's watching her husband get fucked by Hassan.
It's nice to see Ethan being spicy again. I know he like tamed down a lot, but now I feel like he doesn't give a shit anymore. He has to like care about certain things, but after like all the Turk roaches came after him, they're like, "Fuck you, Jew." He's like, "Well, fuck you back, motherfucker, you cuckold." It's nice, chat. Everyone's embracing the 2025 vril. There's another thing. Oh, Idubbbz and Anissa basically said they regret nothing. Anissa said that she's very proud of the content cop, and Idubbbz says that it was worth doing. So I don't know what the fuck's wrong with them. I guess they're just retarded, and they intend to be retarded in the future, moving forward, forever and ever. Amen. So that's the little Idubbbz update. I know he's everybody's favorite punching bag at the moment. I figured I would join festivity there. Cool. All right. Next. Oh boy. Might be a long stream, even though it's cut in half already. Speaking of our boy H3, I mentioned that Denims was trying to crowdfund litigation against H3. I can't remember exactly what he says. That she was supporting terrorism, I think, is what he said, that she thought was defamation. So she raised $46,000 on GoFundMe to sue H3 for defamation. There's a problem with that. Getting to a trial jury in a normal state is $70,000 minimum. Getting to or jury trial is $70,000 minimum. Getting to a jury trial in California, where H3 is at, costs 3 times that. The average going rate for an attorney in California is 3 times the national average. And attorneys are extremely difficult, evil people, especially in California. So you're talking about she doesn't even meet the bare minimum to sue in Arkansas, and she's trying to sue somebody in California. I'm not sure how expensive they are in Texas. However, I'm pretty sure that she's like in Austin, Texas, and that's not going to be cheap either. I would be surprised if Texas, in Austin especially, was not at least 2 times the national average for going to a trial. So what she did, she says, 1 week, 1,700 donations, and $46,000 later, I'm refunding the GoFundMe. If when I go forward as a plaintiff, I will be self-funded. Thank you everyone for proving Ethan wrong. His behavior is unacceptable and people do care. Proceeding with the defamation suit against Ethan is a monumental undertaking. A suit with Kavanaugh started 4 years ago and is still ongoing. I do not want to fundraise to start a fight I can't finish, and I feel like I've let those down who have donated. With that in mind, if this journey I wish to undertake, I'll be doing it with my own funds. I'll be keeping all of you posted with what happens next while the statute of limitations runs for the next year. I'll be elaborating on stream Friday. So what happened, I believe, is that she talked to an attorney. An attorney told her my rate is $500 an hour. It's going to cost 150 hours on average to get to jury trial, with discovery and everything, and it's going to be really expensive, and you're going to suffer, and you probably are going to lose. And if you lose a defamation lawsuit in California or Texas, both states have very rigorously, strongly tested and applied anti-slap laws. So you're not only going to owe the thousands of dollars for that, you're also going to owe the tens of thousands of dollars directly to Ethan Klein when you fail to meet that bar. So then she heard that news and said, oh, fuck, and refunded the money. Because actually, she originally edited the GoFundMe to say that she's going to keep the money if she doesn't sue him. And then everyone called her out for being a lying whore. And then she was like, okay, I guess I'll refund you then. So she saw the money in her hands. That's really a philosophical question. I think I said the exact same thing last week. But is it better to have $46,000 in loss than to never have had $46,000 at all? And if you ask somebody else, I think he'll tell you that it was better to never have that money. Wait, really? Oh my god. Holy shit. Here, look, chat. Speaking of Gibson Go, the Kiwi Farms one, if I refresh, is up to $15,000. I started it at 12:30 thereabouts, so we're approaching hour 3 and it's almost met, so that's pretty fucking base, chat. Thank you everybody. See what the top dono is. $3,000 from anonymous giver for We Love the Operator. Thank you, anonymous giver. Is this like super chat segment? Amateur comedic taxidermist for 1,000 says, you are great. Oh, you deserve so much more than this. Thank you. I've heard that too. There's a lot of Germans. Usually they're trannies, and they're German trannies, and they say, Josh, the Kiwi Farms guy, you are gross. I'm like, danke. The anonymous giver for 1,000 also says, my horse race winnings will cover it. Base Gamba Sesh enjoyer, sharing with the house, tipping his tipping his dealer, of course. Goku's strongest soldier for 500 says, nice of you to set something up like this. I have wondered how I could support you. Great chance to help with this campaign. Gonna have to figure out a budget for monthly donos. Even if I can't, I'll try to drop single donos. Remember, it's always morally correct to hate trannies. Based. I agree. As I mentioned, I'm still working on the RDC thing. This isn't really a super chat segment. I'm just going to try to read off at least the really, really big ones. Anonymous giver for $500 says, you are mentally ill, stalker. You are going to prison, stalker. You've been instructed many countless times to cease and desist from fundraising for your illegal hate group swatting site. Actually, the real Patrick Tomlinson, this is one of his fake trolls, would not call us a swatting site. Continuing to do so constitutes felony harassment. Enjoy prisons. Anonymous giver for $500 also says, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice, chat? I feel like that's very nice. Thank you. Okay, the not super chat segment over. I have done a wee little amount of research into this, and I'm taking a second bite at this apple. As it turns out, I stream every week, and when I don't do things justice the first time around, guess what? I can just try again, and I'll keep trying until everyone is on board and giving me compliments and that. So, last week I was poached headfirst into this boiling water, not knowing what the fuck I was into. And this week I have no idea what the fuck is going on. And I have a vaguest understanding of things. But in the time since, for whatever reason, the Soy Jack people have decided to take an immense interest in Synthetic Man, also called Synthetic Chud Man, who does something called the Chudcast, I think. And now that I'm a little bit more informed, here is what I understand. He is an anti-woke media commentator who does video game and also movie reviews, but definitely video games. And he has acquired an audience which is now turning on him, and that is the foundation of his drama, because his audience is very chudly. And he's kind of like a I guess close to Tim. No, this is hard to say, but kind of like a Tim Pool libertarian, where he's like, I appeal to the right because of my takes, but at the same time, I'm like very laissez-faire minded type. So I have a couple clips to kind of lay the groundwork on him, and then I'll talk about what I think happened to kickstart the drama. Okay.
And read a Gerudo, and if you've seen any of their Rule 34, you know they're usually sporting a little something extra. Come. That's why I'm going doing your pussy tonight, Link. Though obviously.
So he's into Fuda. I think that's inarguable. I want to say it's not an allegation that he outright talks about being into Fuda. And there's another clip of him where he explains how the problem with anime is that anime, because it's a fantasy, can make anything look good, including girls with penises. So he says that girls with penises are very hot, but only in anime, where they're like properly women but with penises, and trannies in real life are disgusting to him. So he's kind of like that meme where it's like, I love Fuda, but I would never, ever, ever, ever fuck a tranny, I promise. And this, of course, has led to some contention amongst his fans, who, as someone running something called the Chudcast, you might expect them to be a little bit more conservative than that.
Yeah, I have listened to some ASMR recently, I won't lie. Wrong. I had to read this one out, because this is literally like one of the most pseudo-intellectual comments I've ever read in my life. Like, this guy is 90 IQ tops. More likely, probably 85. I guess.
So he got caught in 4K with the anime ASMR VTuber in the recommendations. And then when gently prodded if he had been watching ASMR, he kind of admitted that, yes, he was. So if Pillow Deer ASMR is your Oshi, you share an Oshi with the Synthetic Man, this guy. And then this is what's causing him some frustration with his audience. This kind of stuff.
Yeah. Also,
so apparently Pal World, the Pokemon knockoff game, released a companion game that's a dating simulator, from my understanding, and he's talking about that on this.
they pussied out. They didn't put the lolly in. They're scared. I don't know if you...
That might be for the best.
Hold on, tell me. Since you don't know Pal World, you probably haven't seen this. Actually, it's in my thumbnail for my Pal World review, so you could just fucking click that. But hold on. I will show this. I'll show this on the stream really quick. But there's a character.
What is it called?
Dazzy, D-A-Z-Z-I. Let's see. There's a character that is basically a lolly on a cloud, and so they did not put that in the dating sim.
I posted
wonder
it
why.
in Discord. Told me if you want to see it.
Oh damn! All right, Devin's fast.
Oh, I'm seeing some uh-ohs in chat. I've been told after my last stream that means nothing at all, and if you think that it does, you're the pedophile.
So that's what chat wanted. That's what chat wanted in. Just ask him. They'll be honest. Okay.
Okay, so there's that. My understanding is that he has that pro art expression take, and it's kind of grinding with his audience. He's not ever come out and said that he's a lolicon, but um he has like not disavowed it, which is pissing people off. Now when I talked about this, I mostly focused on that because I couldn't really understand what was happening. And when I talked about that, someone who's actually banned from, I don't know if she's banned or not, but she despises me because she says that I'm a feminist. She is apparently a fan of this guy and sent him money to try and provoke a response. And Synthetic Man, being somebody who has incredible self-preservation instinct, decided to take a $1 super chat from a retard and just go off on it. You ready? This is a response to my last stream talking about him.
He's only seen your clips talking about Lolly. He says you're using libertarian arguments. All right, maybe Noel does want to fuck little boys if all he's thinking about all the time is Lolly. It's like,
You hear that awkward laugh? That's the laugh of somebody who just realized that he cannot put that genie back in the bottle, and he is now on my fucking shit list forever.
either he hates Lolly because he wants to touch real kids, or he hates Lolly because he wants to touch little boys instead. Like, legitimately, out of all the things that I've said over the years, my opinions on Lolly are the bottom of significance. Not even fucking close to, like, if I had to rank all the most important opinions I've ever said over the course of my channel, my non-committal answer on Lolicon is like in the bottom, I don't know, 50, bottom 10, bottom 20. Like, this is retard shit. This is 100% retard shit. Like, I know that I'm sure to him that I'm basically irrelevant. That's fine. I don't think I'm important in like a literal sense. But that is stupid. That is goddamn stupid. I just gotta be honest. Like, out of all the things to look up for the Synthetic Man, it's Lolly opinions. Yeah, he's autistic 1000%. You get 1000%.
My autism in this case, by the way. I'm not sure if he says anything else at the end, but my autism.
Yeah, I'm sure he's mad that I don't ban 30% of my fans.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, which is totally what a smart person would do.
So here's the awesome thing.
Paisio's
The really awesome thing. As I pointed out, he seems to have a lot of people enjoying their OOs in the chat, right? And he's saying that it would be a terrible business decision for him to ban people who are just openly talking about child erotic in his chat as he discusses Lolicon. It would be a bad business decision. Obviously, taking the Medicare route where you never piss off your own audience. You never speak against your own audience because they're the ones who support you. You never break that golden rule. Never, ever go against your own audience, even if they're talking about, child belly erotic. Never do that, chat. So, after this, he apparently walked it back a little bit. And then...
No. Paisio's thanks $2. A real man apologizes when he's done wrong. I honestly don't think I was very in the wrong. What I was in the wrong for was grossly exaggerating. Like, I got way too angry. But I got angry because of the accumulation of all the bad shit that's been happening, you know? Like, I realized...
The bad shit is...
that,
and again, this is a very secondhand rehashing what I understand, is that even though, like, apparently according to him, 1/3 of his chat is child belly erotic enthusiasts, there's another significant chunk that is very anti-anime, anti-VTuber, and he had a VTuber on his stream where apparently he did like a 180 and started, instead of, being critical of her, he was very supportive or not critical enough, and that caused a lot of his audience to call him a simp, and that blew up in his face. So now he's kind of torn between 1/3 of his audience really likes child belly erotic, and the other third is like, why are you talking to these people that you should despise on your podcast and simping for them? So he's kind of torn between that. And he's trying to figure out how to appease both sides.
he wasn't that harsh on me compared to other figures. But
And then after, so he reads the $1 super chat from a retard and lights up, and then he actually listens to what I said, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of paying attention to this because it's happening, and I'm trying to like form an understanding of what's going on, and that's kind of what I pray. And then he's like, oh fuck, he didn't actually call me a pedophile or anything. he just kind of just filled in the gap, like he assumed that if I was talking about him, I must be calling him a pedophile. So therefore, he's just gonna say whatever the fuck he wants. And then he watched it. He's like, "Oh, I'm actually retarded." Okay, I got you.
again, it was the principle that I was vastly misrepresented because of his personal crusade against Lolicon, right? Where I was wrong was me calling him a pedo and that he wants to fuck little boys or whatever. That's where I fucked up. But I'd say
Imagine saying that. Imagine saying that. Yeah, I accidentally called this guy. I said he fucked little boys, you know, and I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, how do you how do you make that mistake? How is that like your go-to? That when you hear about somebody saying something you don't like, you're like, you know what? Oh, here. Hold up. Oh man, I'm never gonna be able to find this, and any search query that I'm going to put into Google to try and find this clip is a disaster. It's like the that Rockstar game about interrogating people, where one of the options for like a mob boss is, "Do you like fucking little boys, Varez?" Like that should not be your. Actually, I think what's even funnier about that is that that's the only way to actually proceed in that interrogation. Like that's the correct option to take. Yeah, L.A. Noir. There's a scene where you can accuse some mob boss of they like fucking little boys. Like this guy, he picked the wrong option basically. He tried to be going against me like I'm Valdez, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
that was justified on my end. You know, I mean, if you literally your podcast exists and your entire website exists to talk about drama on the internet, and I have the most active thread on Kiwi Farms. Couldn't
He did
take
at the
5
time.
minutes to just look up what the drama was about.
I tried. Even now, I still don't understand it. I read through the OP and everything. My understanding is that he's having like a fan revolt, in part because of the child belly people, and then also because of his appearance with a VTuber that he apparently had disavowed in the past, and it's causing like a conflict. And now he's like really resentful that his audience is not like keeping it on lock and supporting him like he would hope for.
You know what I mean? Like, again, I overreacted. I shouldn't have said what I said. But do I need to explain like what the issue is? It's kind of fucking ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah. How about that? How about this? Instead of calling me a pedophile as your immediate reaction, why don't you explain what the fuck is happening in a language I can understand? So after this, by the way, he sent me an email, and I didn't post this at first. So I thought it was inconsequential, but I'll read it because apparently this is, if SaberSpark gets an S, this is an F. So he contacts me and says, "Normally I would never do this, but I'd like to apologize for my behavior on stream yesterday. I'm well aware there's no excuse for calling you a pedophile and saying that you want to fuck little boys." Yeah, there is not. So clearly, I'm overreacting because of the other drama related to my channel. As for Ranger Boo's comments, I didn't actually believe them, which is why I was hesitant to comment on her super chat. But you did it anyways. If you're not if someone super chats me to say like XYZ is a pedophile, I don't think I'll read that. Like, you know, I don't think I would read that, or I'd read it verbatim. I wouldn't just like agree with it. Okay, so that's the paragraph, and then apparently the rest of this is irrelevant as an apology. Okay. The reason I was pissed is because my extremely parasocial fans exploded on me for being nice to a VTuber. That is literally it. I know it's not worth your time to go through them, but you can check the VODs and people have re-uploaded. My drama had nothing to do with lolicons, my opinion on drawings. People have informed me of your past as an HN mod, so I understand your personal disgust with the issue. That has nothing to do with me. My opinion on lolly has been public for years. No, this is all because I felt remorse for being an asshole to a VTuber, Kirsha. Oh my. Honestly, I can't get a fuck away from her at this point. Publicly, who I promised privately that I wouldn't do exactly that just 3 days prior. See, the issue is that Kirsha is like one of the it's like Chud adjacent, but is also independent. So there are chains on all the other VTubers, and they can't make appearances willy-nilly without agency approval. But Kirsha can do whatever the fuck she wants, and I guess because of the novelty of it, a lot of people like Synth just invite her on, and then it becomes drama because it's like a whirlwind of like fucking chaos around these people. That's literally it. I know it's not worth your time. Oh, wait, I read that. Public Ali. Is that how you spell that? It's not just publicly. Public Ali. That is a typo. Okay. Who I had promised privately that I wouldn't do exactly that just 3 days prior. Yeah, I mean, when you go from I will never ever talk to the anime girl on stream to here's the anime girl, I think she's pretty cool now. I imagine that some people are gonna get some whiplash from that shit. That's literally it. People blew up a simple ethical dilemma and some cringy words. I'm not sure if you've seen the whoa mama shit. It's the most active thread on Kiwi Farms. My fans are fucking pathetic. I talked to Kersha privately about content creator related stuff, but I am not delusional simp. I have no intentions to try and date her or whatever retarded shit people are saying. So I got doxxed by my own fans because they think I chose a woman over them. Yes, it's actually that fucking gay and retarded. For the record, I support the existence of Kiwi Farms. I'm not going to ask you to remove the info or anything. I know how this works. I won't waste any more of your time on my personal drama, especially when it's boring and blown out of proportion by bad actors. Just know that I am sorry I let my anger get the best of me. I said some stupid Ezzy shit like I always do. Me and you are actually pretty similar in our beliefs on a lot of things. We both had trainings try to shut down our lives. I'm not going to ask to show up on Monday or for you to guest my podcast. I'm just interested in resolving the conflict. Now, as per usual, in my responses, I go down things like a judge. Here's a tip. If you ever want me to respond to something in your email, make sure it's the very first thing that you write, because the chances are when I respond, I'm going to get to that and I'm going to respond to that and nothing else, because that is simply my way of responding to things. And when apparently it really, really drives people up the wall that I do this, but I'm like a judge. Okay. I get to point one that passes the sniff test, and that's where I'm putting my motion down. Okay. So you better make sure that's the first fucking thing I see. I respond saying, you have managed to get people to call me a gay pedophile involved in sex trafficking children in foreign countries, so I'm not particularly sympathetic. When she says, that can't be unusual for you by now. What a line. What a line, buddy boy. That's yeah, you righted that ship, motherfucker. For what it's worth, I've never mentioned anything about sex trafficking. Those are just my psychotic parasocial fans and haters who are two sides of the same coin that I'm sure you already know. I'm not really asking for your simpies, but I would like you to make an official statement on stream, or if you would, or something to that effect. I might not seem like it, but I am a much more mature and stable person offline. I can run my mouth too much and get in trouble. Either way, I appreciate it. I don't know. I don't need like a response. Like, I don't know. I'm not asking for like a retraction. It's just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you do that? However, the response to this, which I wasn't expecting, is that a lot of people started making fun of his fans because he's obviously dumping ass on them. And in particular, Kobe Goldstein for £5 sterling says, sorry to bring up the drama, but why did you call us pathetic in an email to Joshua Moon? You have a very dedicated fan base. I'm not trying to annoy you. Coaxius warns him a ban is incoming. Justin Jones says G-Tab. Ender says who? Fluffer says oh boy. Otter says you had it coming. Giga Doomer says who is Josh Moon? Malazko says lol the name. I guess at Goldstein. And then the chat summary is, viewers are discussing a recent apology email from the streamer and their thoughts on the current minimum wage and cost of living. Some viewers are sharing their own experiences with earning money and living experiences. Okay. So he said he was sorry. Let's see what happens now.
Kobe Goldstein, thanks for £5. Sorry to bring up drama. Why'd you call us pathetic in the email to Joshua Moon? Well, some of you are pathetic, let's be real. You have a very dedicated fan base. Yeah, and some are, and a significant number of you are dedicated to hating me now. Interesting. I'm not trying to annoy you. Well, I'm not surprised that faggot revealed the emails, given that, you know, he's a fat bitch and all that, who has a non-functioning penis. And that's his own, that's something he admitted.
I think that this guy is a couple drinks away from being Ethan Ralph. You know, it may be time to sacrifice synthetic chud man, to the corn, to appease the gods, so that we can have a bountiful harvest. Because I'm getting some echoes of the past in these streams, which is kind of like, you know, if you have a self-preservation instinct, you should usually think before you speak. And I get a lot of shit for that. People say I talk so slow. It's like, well, I'm trying to think about what I'm saying. I am on stream. These things are being recorded. There are thousands of people listening to me talk. I better make sure that when I say something, I'm not going to instantly regret it and cause ripples of contempt and hatred that are going to echo back to me. So, I don't know, buddy. Just from one internet guy to another. Feels like a bad idea. I'm not saying that you can't pick a fight with me, but the way of going about it, again, look at that. It's like, it's not my fault I called you a pedophile. I was simply reading a super chat and put no thought into it before I responded. It's not my fault that I called you all retards and pathetic in my email. I just assumed it wouldn't be public. You know, it's like, that's not a valid excuse to doing that. You are talking about your fans like they're scum of the earth. Maybe don't say that to people. And that's something that was offline, by the way. He says that he's just not good at thinking on his feet, which is a very, very important skill for anybody who's live on anything, because there are times where you have to come up with reactions on the spot. It's part of the job. So you better be good at that skill. But that was an email. He wrote that in an email. He had time to sit down and think about what he had to say and how to compose his thoughts, how to organize his thoughts so that they were the most impactful, the most meaningful, and the most persuasive, and best representing his perspective and his thoughts and feelings. And he chose, with all that benefit to how, when, and why, and where to say things, to say very specifically that his fans are fucking retards. So I guess it's true. I guess that's what he actually thinks. Because what else would I believe? That he made a mistake then? When he wrote an email? He didn't have to write an email. He is a big hypocrite. I used to watch him. Interesting. He's a React streamer. He just has to go whoa. I think he just has to go uh-oh based off what I've seen in his chat. I think that's what they're really looking for. Anyways, so that's the synthetic man drama. I hope I have covered this a little bit more properly than last time, because I think many people were frustrated at my inability to articulate what the fuck is happening last time. But really, I mean, the most notable thing to me is just how big it is. Like, how many people are talking about this. And I guess it's just because there's another lesson from Internet Man, right? So not just podcast Internet Man, but forum Internet Man. The most vehement haters of any person on the forum, the people who actually genuinely fucking despise and most passionately discuss people on the Kiwi forums, are ex-fans. And I think about that even with the people I cover. Nick Ricada, Ethan Ralph, Jim Sterling even. I used to watch Jim Sterling. I remember playing that game where you're like in a submarine building bases under the ocean on an alien planet. I remember playing that game and listening to like all of his old videos for the Jimquisition, and like just seeing, like hearing in real time his like mental decline over the years. And now he's still of interest to me. If Jim Sterling does something interesting, I'm all for it. Seeing Ricada decline in real time, seeing Ralph decline in real time. Like, I had experience with them before they became lolcows, so it's like, you know, they're naturally more interesting to me because there's a full story there. It's like, if you've had this fan base of people who know everything about you, and they've been listening to you for years, and, you know, if you piss them off and turn on them and belittle them and mock them and betray their trust and do things that they don't want you to do, those people don't just go away. I mean, some of them do, but a lot of them will stay fans forever, just like anti-fans. And it's the same thing with like Darkside Phil even. I think all of his A-logs are old fans of Darkside Phil. So, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way that people are. That's just human psychology. Yeah, like Idubbbz, exactly. Idubbbz is another fantastic example of somebody who had a real fandom and is now a massive lolcow because he betrayed his entire fan base, disavowed all the content that they were fans of and that they enjoyed, and basically ridiculed them for ever liking it, even though, you know, he made it. So now he's got millions of people who consider him like a punching bag. That's a direct consequence of this. So that's it. There's like so much to this that it is like a DSP thing where it's like if you don't properly know what's going on, there's no like somebody was talking about how he demodded one of his mods or something called Cobain, and it's like I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's like, but to a lot of people, like that's the hot drama. Like he like one of these clips I mentioned, this one I didn't even play this. He demodded one of his mods called "What the Egads" because of D-writing, and I'm like, I'm sure that in his community this is like a big deal. They know who this guy is. That they think it's bullshit. He was demodded, and their like passions are inflamed because somebody that they like was reprimanded by their top guy, and it's like that kind of resentment. It's very strange, and this is something that you only learn over time, and through experience, but there are encounters that you have with people that you think are insignificant. They're like a daily occurrence to you in the course of your work that really stick with people for years. And they'll bring it up like 5 years later about how you wronged them or how you spoke to them in a way that really pissed them off. And you completely forgot about that shit. You forgot about it as soon as it happened even. And they hate you. They hate you because of that. And that's not like, oh, my fans are retarded. Like, that's just human nature. Like, when you're the big guy and you're the top dog and you say something to somebody who has a lot of respect for you that's really, insensitive, it's human nature that is going to have a disproportionate impact on them than it does you. And if you do that enough to people, especially if they're not really expecting it, and it comes out of the blue and it feels like a betrayal, that resentment is very slow to dissipate. It's like drinking. It's like when I eat my tuna. I can only eat so much tuna, chat, because it has mercury. And sure, that mercury might go away after a while, but if you eat too much tuna, that mercury builds up and then you're a retard. It's the same thing with like people hating you. Like you can piss people off every so often and it will go away over time. But if you piss too many people off too quickly, that mercury builds up in your spinal column or in your brain, and then you die. And you become a retard. You gotta be careful eating tuna, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, egad. So, yeah, I'm going to demod you just because, well, I just, part of it is everyone wants you demodded. But the other part is that I just formally want to ask you not to make any more videos on me, for one. And for two, just stop deriding me. All right, that's it. It's those two things. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know how to say it any other way. Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's true. The skipjack tuna, which is the shittiest. Albacore is so nice, but skipjack has the least mercury. And the reason for that is the way that predators eat smaller creatures, that mercury builds up. And skipjacks don't last as long. They don't live as long. So they have the least mercury. I have been eating skipjack as opposed to albacore, and only twice a week. And I don't feel like I have mercury building up in my brain. I'll let you guys know if I ever test positive for mercury poisoning or something. Fish is gross. Bro, white people are sea monkeys. We are people who evolved on the sea to eat the fish. And if you don't like fish, you are not a proper sea monkey. You're just a regular monkey, chat. Okay. That's that for that. That's that for that. That's a nice round expression, I feel. Okay. Next, speaking of Ricada, here is some drama with him. And this, it is evidence that he's been doing the Karen Reed trial. I know literally nothing about Karen Reed. However, Ricada has been streaming it to fewer and fewer people every stream. Apparently his commentary is very poor, not very insightful. He seems distracted. He brings up personal stories about all the drugs and hookers he's fucked or whatever. And people are just not having a good time. Like his actual fans aren't. And here is some evidence of him arguing on Twitter. I'm not going to bother reading it, but he's just talking about his drug use. How he takes Adderall for narcolepsy. So he can get away with showing positive on piss tests for amphetamines because he has a prescription for Adderall. That kind of shit. All while the trial is happening. So he's on his phone. He's not even paying attention. Doesn't give a shit. And he apparently had this like conference. He showed up in something with Patrick Melton. And if you don't know, Patrick Melton is the pedophile who said something about fucking Aaron Imholt's kids. He said something about how Aaron Imholt's daughter is a cup holder because you can flip her upside down and put a cup in her vagina, and she's like 9 years old. He's just like one of the most grotesque, disgusting people ever, and the world would be better off with him dead, unironically, in the literal meaning of dead. So Ricada showed up to this fucking thing. And what did Ricada have to contribute to this conference in Las Vegas with a pedophile? Well, he brought over a red refrigerator, and this is the drink fridge. So this refrigerator, from my understanding, sat next to the bed where they had cuckold sex. And he literally, apparently, hauled this refrigerator from Minnesota to Vegas to show on stage as like a trophy of when he was having cuckold sex with drugs in his marital bed as an epic own. Also an epic own was sharing pictures of Aaron Imholt that they had acquired, showing text messages with April Anderson and from Aaron, and basically just being like a bitter ex over Aaron in person in a conference with a pedophile on stage. And it's just like, is this a valuable expenditure of your time and energy? I guess so. I don't understand what's up with people like Dick and Nick who are like, yeah, I want to associate with Vito Gesualdi. I want to associate with Patrick Melton. These are my guys. Like, to what end? You have no shame. Just don't get it. And then he also said this in chat, I think in Melton's stream. He said, Aaron was abusive and sex with him became less consensual. And I honestly don't know how else to describe this, but it sounds like Ricada saying that he was at a brooding convention with Aaron Imholt, and he was showing Aaron in his hotel room, you know, his next court review video, and then Aaron Imholt just pushed him on the bed and fucked him, and you know he didn't say no, but it wasn't explicitly consensual. And then later he invited Aaron Imholt to his home, and Aaron took him aside in the bathroom and ejaculated on his face, and also that was not explicitly consensual. So it really does seem to be saying that Ricada was raped by Aaron Imholt, and that may be why he is literally butthurt and is trying to epically own him a year after everyone stopped giving a shit. So that is the situation on that, okay? That is all I have to say about Ricada. Okay. Actually, this requires a throwback. Okay, this requires a throwback. So, I think this is on a clip channel somewhere. 1 second. This is one of my favorite videos of all time. So, I'm going to play it again. So, this is... Yeah, I'm going to play this. It's 11 minutes. Okay, hold up. I guess I'll just play the relevant portion. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is on Blessed Maddie Clips and Archive, and this is the Gator meets Kiki Pon Pon. And if you don't know, Kiki Pon Pon is one of the lolicon, like explicitly lolicon Shondo types. That of course Gator is a big fan of, because of course he would fucking be. You know, he met this anime babe in person, and by in person I mean she's a vertical monitor on a table, and he's speaking to the anime avatar on a table. And at the end of this, he literally takes a selfie standing next to a computer monitor with the anime girl on it. But before he leaves, this is a very awkward interaction. I would actually highly recommend. This is one of my favorite moments from the stream ever. You can search anime fan meets his favorite VTuber in real life and watch it. But right before he leaves, he has some parting words with Kiki Pon Pon, and this is what he says.
Bro, in the past year, it's awesome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna cry.
And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met Hexa either. So
yes,
thank
yes,
you for introducing me to Hexa.
Yes.
I don't know who Hexa is. Sorry. My anime knowledge is not up to speed. I don't know what a Hexa is. That means witch in German. What's with all these VTubers that have like German names that aren't German? Cherry? Witch? Explain yourself. Fucking LARPers. Okay. At that point in time, I was bewildered and confused by the mention of this Hexa. Now, when I heard this, I thought it was spelled Hexe, which is how you say witches plural, I'm pretty sure, in German. However, her name is Hexa, as in like hexagon, and she's on hiatus. She left in September 2024, so I guess she met one too many gators and gave up the whole shtick. Now she is simply a lowly V-tweeter, and barely even that. She gave up. She decided at one point she got a $500 crying emoji super chat, and she realized, you know what? I could literally be a prostitute on OnlyFans, and it would be less degrading than this shit. So she just gave the fuck up. She met the Gator Gamer gave her the fatal killing super chat, and she dissolved into the ether. And I can kind of even say that factually based, because I have a little bit of evidence that shows the Hexa was unhappy with the attention she was getting from the anime fan meeting his Oshis, because the logs have dropped, and here we have a screenshot of DMs with Hexa VT saying, "I would tell Gator to not mention you much if at all possible, though. LOL. If there is one thing I know, it's being even adjacent to the Ralphiverse rarely brings good things to attention." And then Hexa, this anime girl that he's talking about in real life, and how he is so excited to go see her next. He is just so over the moon. He can't wait to go see Hexa, and he thanks her. He says, "Thank you, Kiki Pon Pon Lolicon Bunny Girl, for introducing me to Hexa, because she's so special and funny and sexo," he says. I think sexo hexo is what they said. So he then did a hop, skip, and a jump over to meet Hexa. And then this is the resulting conversation. This is her. "Yeah, I already asked him to refrain from mentioning me. I'm so glad I wasn't streaming my meet and greet, because Lamau, he came to it. I didn't even know his lore, bro." She see, this is it. She found God after this. The Gator Gamer came over to her stall, and when that interaction happened, and it was so awkward, she fell to her knees and said, "Jesus, I see you and I feel seen, and I know that this path I walk is not righteous. It is not holy. It is not what you would wish of me on this earth with this life you've given me. I am putting down the VTuber avatar, and I am quitting." And that's what happened. And it was because of the Gator Game War that this happened. And she explicitly writes, she has pinned into existence for all eternity something that I am going to remember forever. That she said, "I am so happy I was not streaming my meet and greet because he came to it." That not even, I met a lot of awkward people. I wasn't expecting that much or that many weird people. Specifically, not collectively, specifically, Gator Gamer came to my stall, and thank fucking God I was not streaming that shit, because the Gator Gamer came. Just him. Nobody else. Not a single other person is listed as a reason that she was happy she didn't stream that. Just him. I love it when this is like deep lore. This is like when you're playing a video game and there's like something that happens and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then way later you find like a note in like a drawer and it like explains that other thing. You're like, oh shit, that's what that was. That's crazy. I didn't know that. What a fun thing to include in this story. It's like this. Like you have the breadcrumb. The name of Hexa is dropped. I'm like, what? Who's this fucking like other like fake German streamer? And then literally years after the fact, I discover the deep lore, the tweet, the replies that were hidden. As you can see, the hidden replies hidden by the Gator Gamer, hidden, tucked away, the receipts in the drawer of the office building in the evil henchman's office. I found the deep lore, and it has just made the story even more compelling, more interesting to me. Just fucking awesome. By the way, Ralph got into an argument with Randbot, and it was like a 3v1. It was Randbot, Gator, and then like whatever people were calling into Randbot's show. And it was so funny because I just had that conversation. Oh my God. I haven't even talked about that. Was this the stream I was supposed to talk about that? Oh my God. Okay. Well, I have to put that in the back then. I was just maybe. Yeah, no, I'll get back to that. So here's what happened. Ralph's had quite a week. He is now mixing drinks in his mouth. He's just chugging Absolute. And I think he's even taking super chats where it's like if you give him $15, he'll pop a Xan on stream and down it with vodka. Like that's literally what he's fucking doing at this point. So his streams are improving in quality. It's safe to say they're definitely going up in quality, chat. Here's a little synopsis of one of his pill streams. He says, he started by chimping out links over a catfish super chat, as is traditional. Mike's more thinly veiled threats to her based on what is an obvious third party has says. He insists she also DM'd him that she loved him but wasn't prepared to leak it. So if you haven't heard, some e-girl called Lynx was kind of involved with Ralph. He came on to her really hard. He wrote her literal poems, which I'll explain in a little bit, but he wrote her like poetry. And she made it clear, like, I am not sexually interested in you at all. I do not want a relationship with you at all. And then immediately the Ralph man says, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, whore. Never trust no bitch. And just went really hard after her. And she's like on Twitter, bathing in the attention. Like, yeah, you look at this simp in my DMs. And he gets hurt feelings over that. I was looping over a Trump clip and Kanye's demented song. Wigger wiggled so animatedly, he karate chopped the USB cable out of his webcam. Keeps begging for Collins to hit the goal. Watch Jesse P.S.'s recital of Kanye's deadbeat anthem. Minimize yesterday's threat bonanza. Insists the threats were just proclamations that he would if he could get away with it. Was crying over Amanda and Rosie. Says he still loves May, despite everything. Crying over Mother's Day. He shed a tear over this charming AI art of him and Rosie where he is depicted as a morose, fat old man in the children's vest. Is clearly poking fun at him and the horse progenitor. Did they say My Little Pony? Little Pony. He retells the story of how he cheated with May and valiantly protected a pregnant Faith from being caught in the melee. Conveniently forgets he strangled her because she didn't want to be a part of his cursed polycule. He insists that last night's pill stream was tequila only. He's soliciting super berries for a fresh bottle of mezcal. He threatened to procure one regardless. He realized he's too poor without a cash injection. And he screeched about how he's a dedicated father. One other thing that happened that I don't have a quote for is that I have been informed. Wait, let's do a little celebrate as we talk about Ralph being destitute. I have been informed that the goal has been hit, chat. We did it. Can we do it? Yes, we can actually do it. So 3.5 hours after the fact, that is the finances for the Kiwi farm is paid for a year. If it keeps going up, I intend to buy more hardware. There's some things I could definitely improve with an additional server or at least better hard drives. I have an empty M2 drive that I want to put an NVMe in and then move the database over to that so that it is blazing instead of fighting with the file server for disk IO. That is my first. That's the top of my fucking list. Very happy. Thank you, chat, and people from the forum. Okay, so back to Ralph. I called in, and the reason why I called in is that he was like super fucked up on stream, and admittedly, very rare for me. I had a drink. I don't know what possessed me. I think it was over a weekend or something. And I had a drink because I was like, fuck it. I haven't had a drink in a while. I can budget it into my calories. I'm going to have a drink. And of course, I'm not eating. So just like a little drink is like enough to like get like a buzz going. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to call into Ralph's show. And he was talking about, I still have the Old Bay vodka. I'm saving that for a special occasion. Okay. So he was talking shit. He was looping really hard. And then he was playing these like techno club soundtracks where it was like, just smack my horse up or something. It sounded like that. And he was like dancing to it. I'm like, okay, this seems like fun. He was like calling out for me until the either. So I did call him. We had a nice little yelling at each other for 45 minutes. I posted the entire things on locals, manattheinternet.locals.com. It is, I think, public to view if you want to view it. If not, there's archives of it on YouTube. And there are some highlights of it. There are 3 things in particular I want to show. To give you an idea of how this went, when it first started, it was really like heated up. He wanted to just press me about like 8chan, and he was really, really interested in how when I was a teenager on Blockland, I said I wanted to kill my mom. He was like really incensed with that. He's like, what did she do to hurt you to make you want to kill her? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. It was 15 years ago. I don't give a shit. But he was really, really like hyped up on that. I'll remind you, this is also old news. And the Intel board on 8chan would refer to me. For some reason, they were like, they had like a love-hate with me, and they liked to bully me, but like in a really like friendly way. And they would refer to me as the mom slayer, and would post this copy pasta of a Blockland forum post, like in the official 8chan development threads, and would exclusively refer to me as the mom slayer. So, so this is something that I've heard before. Okay. So then I kept asking him about, because he kept threatening to kill me like over and over again. Like, if I saw you, I'd slit your fucking throat. You wouldn't talk to me like that in person, because I'd fucking kill you. The only thing you need is a bullet through your head, Josh Moon. And every time he did this, I just kept bringing up, like, when he threatened to kill your wife, May. Because if you don't remember, Ralph threatened to kill his wife, May. He said, she asked him not to put hands, that's that recording. She says, don't put hands on me. And she said, I'll put my hands on you if I want to. And if you try to stop me, I'll kill you. And like, do you understand? And that was like immediately before she left him. And he kept denying that this happened. So a lot of that was yelling. But then at a certain point, he starts chugging vodka and taking Xans. And for whatever reason, when he gets really fucked up and he's talking to me, he can't be angry at me. And he starts being really friendly and reminiscent on good times. One of the things that he does in particular is he tries to say, you know, the only reason why I even found out about the corn joke is that Gator told me. And he was trying to like shift the onus of all the hard times that followed after the corn joke as being Gator's fault. Gator planned this. Gator hates me, apparently. According to Ralph, Gator hates me more than anybody else. And so he was trying to sow the seeds of my destruction by whispering, like in Lord of the Rings. He's the little henchman behind the throne saying, "My lord, the corn joke is to be your demise unless you eliminate Joshua Moon." And that's what he tried to tell me. It's like it was all Gator. It was all Gator. I was just following orders. Which I believe, actually. Gator's a little of a two-faced, little cucaracha, a little kakalaka. And then so one of the things that he does, and he's done this multiple times now, either directly to me or just like on stream when he gets kind of like sentimental. A long, long time ago, when Donald Trump nominated Justice Kavanaugh to become a member of the Supreme Court, he had to go through a very rigorous hearing that lasted like 6+ hours. And the main point of contention with this hearing was that he was accused of, I believe, rape. And the woman that accused him of rape was this kind of awkward, I think like became a doctor, I want to say, eventually. And there's a very memorable line from that hearing where the Congress, and this is just a congressional hearing, so it's not like a trial, but it's kind of like a mock trial where they're trying to persuade people to confirm the nomination of Justice Kavanaugh. And they asked, how did you know in that rape that it was Justice Kavanaugh? And she said, I recognize his voice. And they asked, how did you recognize his voice? And she said, it was indelible in the hippocampus, trying to explain how the voice was a distinct enough sound that she would immediately recognize it. And that line became like a meme. So even though it was like a very boring congressional hearing about confirming a judge, it was actually really interesting. And it was a very strange stream where even back in the day, at the time, when Ralph was at his height, he had the Gator Gamer and he had Zidane, who were like both two Gamergate alumni that helped him. And Zidane was a sharp cookie. Is that no, it's not sharp cookie. What's the word for that? I'm mixing up like two different expressions like rocket surgery. Anyways, He held the show together basically. At the time, Gator was just a soundboard guy. That's all he did. Is he pressed the soundboard. Zidane was the one who had the mind for organizing guest appearances, who I think did OBS stuff, who set up relays so that they could stream in one way, collect callers from Discord, collect callers from Google Hangouts, because at the time when Jim was really active, he refused to use Discord ever, so they had to set up a special system for him just to pipe him in from Google Hangouts into the stream so that people calling in on Discord could talk to Jim on Google Hangouts. And Zidane was the guy that set all that up. And then once his decline really started, Zidane left the kill stream. But this was at that time where Zidane was around. But because of the odd hour and schedule of the Kavanaugh hearing, neither Zidane nor Gator was there. So it was just me, Ralph, and Nora, which was his wife at the time. Nora was a medical student from Pakistan in the UK, and she was his long-term girlfriend. She had been around for years. She stuck with him when he went to jail for punching a cop. So she was like a real kneesy, okay? She was with her mans through better or for worse, and she was pretty funny. She was like a smart, funny woman. And we were on the stream for like 6 hours, and it was a great show. Everybody had fun. It was one of the first streams that I ever did, especially to the viewers, because at the time he had like 9,000 viewers. Like, he was doing the live stream, the court hearing thing, before Ricada even did, really, if you want to consider this like a quasi-court hearing. And it was a very memorable stream that even I remember very fondly, because I even remember a joke about how there was like a guy that had like a really bad balding like hairline, and it just left like a little circle in the back of his head. I remember making a joke like, it looks like he's wearing a kippa, and everyone laughed, and it was like one of the best fucking jokes I ever made. Anyways, what I'm saying is that I also remember this, and I remember it very fondly, as does Ralph. And there is some speculation that Ralph started abusing alcohol and Xanax at around this time. So the reason why he remembers this very fondly is that one of the side effects of Xanax abuse is that you stop forming long-term memories. And that's why Ralph loops so much when he streams, because he's literally not forming memories as he goes. So he doesn't know what he's talked about in the last 30 minutes because he's not recording it at all in real time. So when he thinks about stuff, about when things were good, he has to go back to this point from before his Xanax abuse where his memories actually stick around, and that would be around the time where that stream happened. So that's why he remembers that. So I'm just going to play some clips from this, and then there's one thing in particular I have to find from the actual stream.
Our Sonic, I told you this.
Okay, I mentioned the poem that he wrote to Lynx to try and woo her, and it's been speculated that Ralph is maybe like a little bit of a Dick Masterson simp when it comes to women. Like in public, he's like, "Fuck you, bitch, trust no bitch," but then in private, when he's trying to get laid, he's like, I want to fuck you raw and hard in that atavistic way, like how Dick Masterson writes his girlfriends. So, and I believe that because just listen to the utter poetry of this statement. He's saying this to me. This is what he's saying to me about the Kavanaugh hearing.
Our Sonic, I told you this before, like our Sonic voice, me, you, Nora, right? Like it just clicks.
I have never had anyone say anything to me as romantic as our sonnet voice, because it's such a beautiful expression. Our voices in unison have this melody to them that is so effective. And it's like nobody's ever said that to me before. It's honestly, it's a little bit sexual. It's a little bit romantic and hot and heavy, and I had no idea what the fuck to say to that. Okay, it was very strange.
Right. And so I appreciate the things you've done for me, and I hope you appreciate the things you've done for me. So
Well, I'm happy to help, Ralph, but do you remember what changed between then and now?
well, I mean, it sounds like we're gonna get into fighting territory again, but
Asking, do you remember what it was?
Dick Masterson.
It happened on Dick's show, but there was an underlying problem.
Well, okay, well, just tell me that. Okay, we can have it out, like, if you want. Like,
You became hopelessly addicted to drugs and alcohol, Ralph.
okay, well, that's not exactly the case.
Ralph, you're fucked up on drugs and alcohol right now, Ralph.
Okay, yes, she could say.
Sent 3
Yeah, that's one clip. 2 clip.
Broke dick. Hey Josh, broke dick. How many
And yes, the whiplash in the actual call is that bad.
how many kids do you have?
How many kids do you have in your life, Ralph?
2.
None. You don't see either of them regularly.
Wrong. I just saw my son this past week. You're absolutely
For an hour.
wrong.
Your court mandated 1 hour of time with Xander.
2 actually, and it's 4 total. So, you know what? I don't really have to prove anything to you. That's the thing. So, like,
If you
you're
want to.
just a
Anonymous sent
faggot.
$3. Josh.
What's really funny about this part is that I think after the fact, like after this stream, he was talking about how he went to go see Xander and there was something wrong at the meeting, and Xander didn't seem particularly interested in spending the 2 hours with him. So he said something like that little cocksucker or something. He said something like really egregiously bad about his son. Because apparently their last meetup didn't go that well. He's like, I spent all that time and money trying to get with him, and then I see my son, and that little cocksucker didn't want to do anything. I was like, okay, buddy. That's a bit rough.
Dude, like, I want her to be the best person she can be.
This is about Nora.
And, you know,
And you don't think she could have done that with you? If you
No.
hadn't have gone to Miami and been with the hooker with Andy Warski?
well, the hooker with Warsi is like a misnomer, but like do I think she could have done it with me? No, I don't.
Why not?
Because how can you, nigga? Like, I mean,
By the way, when that happened live, Andy Warski immediately reached out to me as it happened on Twitter DMs, and he desperately tried to clarify something that I didn't even think I said, but I guess it could be interpreted that way. That he did not share a hooker with Ethan and Ralph. Instead, they got kicked out of their hotel room. I think this was when Andy Warski threw like a bag of ice at him in a hotel room, and they got into like a fight or something and got kicked out of the hotel. And then I think the story is that they parted ways and Ralph went away with the hooker. So, but Andy, for whatever reason, was very concerned that I was telling people that they had shared a hooker together in a hotel room. And he would like to clarify that that was not what happened. Then there's one other thing that, for whatever reason, was not clipped, but is probably one of the funniest fucking things ever. It's right after
Drugs and alcohol, Ralph.
You're fucked up part. For some reason, this was not included, even though it's so important.
okay, well, that's not exactly the case.
Ralph, you're fucked up on drugs and alcohol right now, Ralph.
Okay, yes, she could
Anonymous
say.
sent $3. The best frenemies on the internet.
It's funny because, like, me and you, like, it is actually hilarious because, like, we do go together like ham and cheese, but
Nobody has ever, on the spot, come up with an expression as funny as saying that me and Ralph are like ham and cheese. Because he is a pig monster and I am a connoisseur of fine cheeses, chat. And honestly, it's one of the best things anyone has ever come up with on the spot for any reason. Never mind mid-argument fucked up on Xans and alcohol. He still has it. He has that little spark in him still to be funny. I didn't even know ham and cheese was like a popular combination. That caught me off guard as well. Okay. And then to round this all out nicely, having a nice long stream, even though I'm just talking about content for once. I did get paid $18,000 today. Theoretically, it hasn't happened yet, but theoretically that's going to happen. So I might as well enjoy some fan favorites. Now, this is one of the most divisive ones. In particular, my attorney does not like this guy and has refused to represent him because he says that he would be a bad client and not worth his time. So let's get into the Bossman Jack chat. Bossman is back and he's gamba sashing it up. He's been obviously fucked up on drugs for a while, and this week had all sorts of ups and downs. Let's watch some videos. I promise this is probably going to be about half an hour, and how much of this is going to be just gambling content. So.
Bro! That was the biggest cuck of my life, dude. That's the biggest cuck I've ever seen in my life. Oh my fucking god, dude. That looks fucking huge. That looks fucking huge. I'm getting called again. Hold on, guys. Hello? Yeah. What? What? No way. What the fuck?
The lyric of that song, that's shit in my cup money? You shit in my cup money? Is this what black people do? They shit in cups? Is 2 girls, 1 cup a real thing with black culture?
What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. I gotta go. I'll be outside. I'll be out in a second. Okay. Damn, dude. So shit's going down with my hair up. Oh my god, this gets squirt. Oh my god, bro.
Okay, so apparently he ordered drugs and it went to the wrong house. That's what he's freaking out about. I have some various clips here to enjoy.
Let's go here.
Checking out his new sponsor casino.
This casino is clean, bro. It's nice. It's nice. That's a guy. That's a guy, bro. That's okay though. I'm just saying.
Looks like we found out what happened to Liz Fong Jones. He's now dealing cards for Yeet.com. So this is the his new obsession. I think at Yeet it was this lamb. It's called like lamb chop or something. And the lamb has to like cross all these tiles without being zapped by an alien, and it makes absolutely no sense, but he was hooked to it.
Yes. Yeah! No! Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking freak out, dude.
Wait,
oh
that sound effect.
Oh my god. No! No!
That sound effect is the sound that the zombies make in the CS source. There's like one zombie that's like all skin, or like it has no skin, and it like jumps, and every time you jump it goes. I don't know what the actual source of that sound effect is, but that's like burned into my brain.
Yeah! No! Oh.
You hear it? I don't know what that sound is called. It's like a Wilhelm scream or something.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking freak out, dude. Oh my fucking god, bro. It failed on the last one. Oh my fucking god, bro. Bro, you think this site's rigged or what, guys? Holy fuck, dude. Bro, I had all my money back, dude. They fucking cucked me at the very last one, dude.
The fast zombie. Was that was Half-Life 2 the origin of the fast zombie?
Right now, dude. It just did it again. It just did it again. It just did it again.
The fucking fast zombie.
Bullshit. You guys are cheating.
Dude, he looks bad in this. Look at how bad he looks in the corner.
Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. These guys are fucking rigging my shit, dude.
Okay, the people that hate Bossman Jack, stick it through. I've got good news for you. Just chill out. Settle down there. Don't be making no fast zombie screaming noises at me.
Oh my fucking god.
So after he quit Yeet.com, actually he got banned from Yeet.com because they don't operate in the United States, and they got enough hate mail that he's American, so they banned him.
Bro, I was about to leave, bro. I was about to lose it all, dude. Oh my fucking god.
Oh.
All right, dude.
So he's still on Yeet, but his dad interrupts, and this is a foreshadow of things to come.
Yo, why are you yelling at me? It's not fucking nothing, dude. It's all the fuck out of here, dude. God
So he walks up. His dad says, "What's this?" Slams the door in his face and takes it. Let's take a double look at what that is.
Yo, why are you yelling at me?
What is that? That looks like, to me, in my untrained eye, chat, a little bit of crackarooski crack pipe. Is Bossman Crack back on the crystal? It does appear to be so.
The biggest
Now, that's a big deal for reasons I will explain in case you've forgotten.
rigs bullshit I've ever seen in my fucking life, bro.
This
Oh
is-
my god, guys.
This was his other fascination, risky
There's a
click.
big win. There's a big win. Oh my god,
Rugged.
63K lost it.
It even says rugged. That's
Oh my
funny.
fucking God, bro.
It should just say felted.
Oh my fucking god, bro. Oh my fucking god, bro. Oh my fucking god, bro. Bro, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit, dude, if this is fucking lose it again. Oh my fucking god, bro. Look at this fucking rig bullshit. A 23% chance of success.
It's crazy that they did not want to be sponsors with him. Now, I should mention, I don't think I even said this, but after the Turkey Tom video on Bossman Jack, many of the regular thread users were very upset that their hard work clipping over the years was used to financially enrich some guy who doesn't pay anything. He doesn't tip the dealer, chat. Doesn't tip the dealer. So in protest of unauthorized clip usage by YouTube slop commentators, the clippers of the Bossman Jack thread have decided to take some artistic liberties with their clips to encourage source attribution or non-utilization of their footage, chat. This is what we have here.
Oh my god, dude. Fuck my life, dude.
He's on shuffle because he got yeeted off of Yeet.
I'm at fucking dude. I'm at fucking oh my god.
No, fuck a dude, chat. Classic violence.
Fuck my life, dude. I fucking hate my life, dude.
Smashing that. Good old time. So this is just him doing the crack jaw. So he does that thing where he like runs his jaw back and forth, and that's a sign that he's on the crack rock. He ran that money up, by the way, I believe, to $360,000. Now I tried to find like is there like a graph I can get of this? No. He ran it all the way up to $360,000, and then, like, unlike most times, he actually withdrew a lot of it, and it took him several days to actually lose all of it. He's now back at zero, but there was a time where he had $150,000 in Solana just waiting to be cashed, and he had good reason to save that money, chat, but unfortunately, he just lost it all again. And I $360,000 is a lot of money, but at this point, he's like made money and lost money so much it's not even worth pausing on that figure. Yeah, it was over $250,000. What are you gonna do about it? It's gone. It's gone. All that 0 bytes. Bye bye. All bye bye. $300,000. Bye bye. So then, you know, with a little bit of that crack rock in his system and that money in his bank account, he got a little bit arrogant and started showing off. Yeah, here, check out these gigantic bags of weed. He's showing off a bag of weed that's so big on camera, it looks like one of those bags of ice you'd buy at a gas station, but filled with a controlled substance that is explicitly against his parole. So here it is. I'm violating my parole. I hope nothing bad happens. In fact, let's check this out. Here's some more pictures of the drugs that I bought that are in my house. At some point, he realizes that this is a really bad idea and tries to say that it's his brother's weed, which is really mean because it could like fuck his brother up if they actually believe that. But they did not. So then, of course, he shows off all these drugs in chat. What do you think happens?
Sorry, guys, I'm back. I forgot.
Sits down, takes a little bit of a vape.
Did I get in? Oh my god, took all my money. Holy fuck.
Just chilling.
No way, I'm natty. Do I really have one? Do I really have one? No, dude. No, I don't. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. No, I don't. Oh my god. I gotta go, guys.
So he says,
Oh my god.
do I really have one? What do you think that one could be? One in this instance is a warrant. Do I have a warrant? Do I really have a warrant? He does. The Louisa County, I don't know what J and DR means, but for Austin Curtis Peterson, violation of probation of misdemeanor offense. So the warrant is out. His time among us is limited. And this is like his third bond violation for the exact same shit. Goes straight back to drugs. He's been through rehab however many fucking times. And this time he completed it. And now he's back in public. And he's just immediately back on crack rock, showing off his bags of weed. And after talking to Hardin, perhaps he would throw a dog a bone and represent Bossman Jack. I asked him, are there any cheat codes you can put into the system to kind of get my boy out of trouble, off the hook? And he said, is this like his third or fourth like violation? And I said, yes. And this was Hardin's assumption, approximation of his situation and what's about to happen.
See you later, buddy! Case closed, bitch! Case closed, bitch! The court has been dismissed! Fuck you, pussy!
It is likely that Bossman Jack is going to go back to jail, and there will be another 6 months to a year or even more, because he has a lot of time building up, and he keeps fucking up, and they keep giving him chances, and he keeps fucking them up. And at some point, it's like with Greer. Hardin says, you know, he gets a lot of leeway because he's Russell Greer, and the court is taking mercy on him. And he might mess up once. He might mess up twice. It might take 18 times, but one day he will mess up, and the court will run out of patience. And it's the same thing with Bossman Jack. They might throw him a bone once. They might throw him a bone twice. They might even throw him a bone 3 times. But because it's Bossman Jack, going to keep messing up, and it doesn't matter how many chances they're going to give him, eventually they will simply stop giving him seconds. So it is what it is. Chat. It will be arrested probably before next. Now, I do not have a Reddit segment, but I do have a little something that I found, and I would like to share with you because it amuses me greatly. Someone discovered that in Old English, the word for a meal was a sneeding, and the word for a house, of course, is hus. So that would mean that in modern English, if we did not borrow the French word restaurant to discuss places where you have meals, you would instead be eating in a sneeding house. So I recommend to all that we stop referring to restaurants with the antiquated French loanword restaurant and instead refer to places where we have meals as sneeding houses. So that's my Reddit segment. Okay, that should be it. I have concluded the stream that was brutally massacred yesterday. And now, here comes the really fun part, chat. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to read super chats, because the super chats were destroyed. Now, I think I have the videos from yesterday. I do have the videos from yesterday. So what I'll do is try to scan through them and read the super chats. So I'm going to miss some. I apologize, but I'm doing my best here. Okay. RC... Let me just shrink that. Can I shrink that? What can I do with RCBA69 for $100 says, Josh, it's Italian and late. I don't know what that means. I do know what that means, actually. Is Italian and late. Okay. I was late. I was late by like 30 minutes. That's true. I was late. And then I was very late for this stream as well. I was late. I don't know how else to say it. The uncredited for 5 says, Josh loves hentai and lolicon. Gross. Kukuko for 10 says, thanks for the company and positive stream at PW Army. I heard that PW Army has fallen off, chat. That's the word on the street. Carnova for 10 says, enjoy pizza, stalker child. I will. Thank you. Banana Plugs for 5 says, happy bodygam foot. Oh, well, anyways, you're still my favorite non-Slav always. As I'm typing this, my airplane home is rolling to the runway. Spanish shit. We'll watch the VOD tomorrow. No, Soccer Child, you will not watch the VOD. Crunky K for 5 says Sticker Brush Symphony. Simpony. Your lateness and homosexuality is forgiven. I don't know what the fuck that means. Tetrabex for $100 says, would you rather be the ham or the cheese? The cheese, obviously. What fucking question's that? Hamburger for 2 says, what's up? Shut-in and stay-at-homes, junk food eater, Dota 2 warriors and gods, deckers and street samurai. I feel like that covers everybody that listens to my stream even. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 5 says, press N in chat in anticipation for the body cam footage of Nick Ricada talking to Ceiling Cat while his nose is frosted and dipped in Coke. I don't think we'll get anything that fun. I have a feeling the body cam footage is a little bit sad. Space Allen for $50 says, Ham Jam. Thank you, Space Allen. I appreciate it. Dizzy Until Death for 5 says, nothing. Thank you, Dizzy. Crunky K for 1 says, consoles have been doing this to years. Sony would brick your PSPs and PS3s if they detected pirated firmware, or they revert back to the official ones if you went online. Wow, that's crazy. That shit's so fucking disgusting, honestly. I don't know how we don't have laws against that. Wow, it's Daisy for 1 says, I made the needle felt news hamster. I sent it to you on Zitter. Okay, I know what this person's referring to. I will bring it up on this person did in fact felt me a hamster. Which sounds wrong. It sounds like trying to make a joke or something. It's true. Here we go. Bam. Isn't that nice? He even has one of the patches. That's a pretty good hamster, I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty fucking cute. Thank you. Put him in the background. Hair 04 for 20 says, Nick 55 is the only 10 fish enthusiast I found besides you. I would like to hear your thoughts on his recent unboxing video. There's no way I can open that link, but I have watched him. He's pretty good. He has tempted me to try some more fish options, but honestly, I'm pretty satisfied just by having tins of tuna and smoked herring, you know? I've seen some of his videos, and it does make me want to try different stuff. I think the video that he put out recently that I don't want to see was like tinned in oil, like fish liver or something. I'm like, I'm not curious about what that's like. Murdoch Chan for 1 says, Bing Bing Wahoo, Joshua Moon 2025. Accurate. Sneed for 5 says, I never thought I'd live long enough to see the day where we'd have tranny cars. I don't know what that's referring to. Tranny cars. Oh, like transmissions? Transmissions have been in cars for forever, bro. JJ for 10 says, check out the restaurant rat by the Hill County Devil. Makes me think of BMJ and Rage Pig without fail. YouTube link for perceived convenience. And there is no convenience. I'm watching a VOD to pull these off. Restaurant rat by the Hill County Devil. Okay. Restaurant rat Hill. I'll put on my list. Thank you. Ulysteen for 2 says, Sar, how did you use the Niger word? Niger, or Negus, is the emperor of Ethiopia. Unshat shit for 20 says, appreciate the streams, brother. Here is an OG YouTube classic. I cannot open it. I'm sorry. I disappoint all the video people once again, but thank you very much. Murdoch Chan for 1 says, Josh is the #1 friend of furries and weebs. We salute you, sir. I'm so happy to be making new friends, as always. Friendship, what's the word? Friendship is magic. That's what I learned from SaberSpark today. Awaken 34 for 1 says, so my day is going well. I managed to give my laptop a curve and broke a hinge. And how about you, my friend? I'm doing very well. I'm sorry to hear that you smashed your laptop in a fit of rage. Docs Found for 5 says, AI is divine punishment. God's curse on Twitter artists for being really fucking annoying. Base and Nihang or Nahong. Sorry, I mispronounced that. For 6 says, do you like blue cheese? I fucking love blue cheese. I can eat blue cheese straight with my fingers. John Doe Darius for 5 says, great fucking stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. Logistical Nightmare for 10 says, Grok, draw the news hamster, but make him a bower. That's pretty funny. I don't know what you get from that. I can try. Let's see. Rock. Hatch. Click. Do I have like a full body news ham that I can use? I have like the regular one. Fuck is he? Like losing my mind. I cannot find a hamster. I don't know what I can complete this. No, I can't find it. Where the fuck is it's on my fucking screen, bro. Sorry, I have to abort. I have wasted too much time. I tried, bro. I tried to draw him as a bower. David S877 for 25 says, "Are you ever surprised with the support you get when you are actually able to collect money like merch and others?" Yeah, a lot, because it feels like I'm all by myself a lot of the time. You know, I only have a couple mods. Things are always really difficult, and then once the avenue is open, it's like, holy shit, I can't even fucking believe it. Thank you. The Trans Rights for one says, "Last night I dreamed that you and me were hanging out and you needed to borrow my gun to harass a black woman because you left yours at home. You bummed me a cigarette as thanks." So there's that. That's very bizarre. Don't implicate me in your hate crimes, sir. I'm a lover. Awaken34 for 2 says, "By the way, a game you might want to try if you ever find the time is Dominion 6 or Endless Space 2. Real fun and a breakaway from stuff like Stellaris." I think I've tried Endless Space and I didn't like it. I don't think I've tried Dominions, though. Collier Dante for 20 says, "If you ever meet somebody really into vor, you need to leave immediately because you're on a woman's only submarine." Point blank shot trannies with a, I don't know what that says. Oh, a shotgun, I think. For one says, "Hello, Josh. I'm just here to say Proctor Zarkov is a faggot. I wonder if you agree. Have a nice day." I have very limited interaction with him, but I know that there's a little bit of friction with him on the asylum people. Sneeda Stanny for 5 says, "Josh, I don't normally apologize. It's true, but I admit I am sorry I called you Janny Jersh. You should be called Generous Jersh like an eagle." Thank you. So nice to see people admit when they were wrong, Chad. Sika Low there for 10 says, "You're a true Ralph friend by trying to relieve Ralph of his misery by getting him to holler till he heads to a better place. How do you call in his show? Also, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" In front of Congress. And I call him through Telegram, which is why it sounds like a phone call, because I was literally on my phone. Thank you. And honestly, I don't think there's any hope for Ralph. The fact that it's how the Xanax damages his brain and memory is what gives me very little optimism for him. David Lammy, for one, says, "Come to England." Absolutely not. Lucifero 210 for 10 says, "It's happening, Josh. We're finally importing the Boer to combat Wakandification of the United States. Unrelated." Yeah, I saw. I'm very happy to see that the Boers are coming in. They make me a little bit nervous because they are kind of crazy, but who knows? Thank you. Sneedo for one says, "Apparently the Pippa Feet person is a femboy. Not surprised in the slightest." Yeah, me neither, bro. Sounds about fucking right. Mr. Manchester for 5 says, "When I think of classical bullying, I think of things like giving someone noogies, shoving them in a locker, or giving someone a swirly, the kind of stuff you would instinctively do to Gator." Good point. That is a pretty classical. Spingle Cat, it's like what Hexa did to Gator by giving him a swirly. That was fucking bull. Spingle Cat for 2 says, "Josh, answer the questions about Afrikaners." And then there's a link to the 4chan automotive board, which I do not want to open. Baldo Pagans for 5 says, "Suffer in game studios, suffer Vice, suffer Anna Valence based." Awaken 34 for 5 says, "What's really funny about this whole careship fiasco is that more people are being exposed to the breeding pits trannies." Yeah, that's the best part. Anna Valence fucking sucks. I hope there comes a day where he's not able to pin shitty little hit pieces on whoever the fuck he wants. I forgot to look up if the Vice news article about the Kiwi farms was written by Anna Valence. I'm not sure who wrote that. I should look that up right now, actually. There's a Kiwi Farms tag. Oh my god. Holy shit. I have to show this. I'm glad I looked this up because this is fucking wild. Look at this. They tagged their article about J.K. Rowling arrested for allegedly doxing a trans activist as Kiwi Farms. David Gilbert. Is that the guy that wrote the other Anna Valence article? Look, they tagged this J.K. Rowling and Kiwi Farms. It's mentioned like 4 times. What the fuck? 7 times. Posting trans... Oh, most prolific allies. This is about, Carolyn Farrow. That's why it's. I thought they were talking. See, they wrote this in such a way that it's like it's confusing as fuck. This is just fake news. Is David Gilbert has to be the one that wrote that article about how Vice News stands with. It has to be it. Vice News. Is it? I can't find the article on the top of my head. Who is the person that wrote the article supporting Anna Valens? I'm almost certain that it's David Gilbert, because that name sounds super familiar. No, none by Anna Valens. I'm pretty sure that the David Gilbert guy. This guy looks like I don't know. They deleted the article and I don't have the archive off the top of my head. Next. Cino for 2 says X-Link, which I can't open. Internet Archiavelli for 10 says the crack slinger slasher. And I think that is going to be a Bossman. I apologize. Awaken 34 for 1 says, when I heard the term shots, male lolly, I thought it meant shit Yoda. I don't know what the fuck that means. Awaken 34 for 1 says, also, if I give the chance, much like you, I would shoot all the lolly enjoys without hesitation. Dark Western for 1 says, when will you bring back dono sounds? I'd love a chirp for every $1. Yeah. Portlack for 1 says, I'm sick. Could you bring the SPCC back to the internet, please? Or are you scared he's going to send you to American Samoa? I'm not scared of nothing, bitch. I don't scare. Okay, and then I have another. All right. IHC 1996 for 10 says, I kind of respected DSP for being in his own bubble, but after the Kino Casino event, I learned that he was actually just retarded. The detractors are proper retarded too. Thanks you, Josh. You smell. Thanks a lot, bro. The uncredited for 5 says, did Josh hit the end stream button because that was his hero, Keffels, was doing in the clip? No, I did not deliberately turn off my stream as soon as Keffels said I want to turn off the stream. That did not happen on purpose. TP Lux for 5 says, the stream crashes are a nice touch. Tricks the dumb listeners so they don't realize that the shows are pre-recorded. Sorry, Josh, some of us are too smart to fall for it. Nice try, stalker child. Listen, if the illusion was broken, then nobody would super chat. That's the whole point. Nihong again for 5 says, do you like sausage rolls? Hee hee hee. I think that was one person that got the joke that I was making. RCRA69 for $100 says, Jersey Moo, let's stream. Have you thought of saving for a back generator for your goon bunker so that you're not in the dark with your only source of light in your computer screen? Yes. Eventually, if I ever get a house, what I want to do is I want to get a battery. Like, I want to get one of those Tesla backup batteries that they put in your garage, but which can be used as an uninterruptible power supply. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like, if you have like solar, you put it on these batteries, and then that's used first before it taps into the main power grid. But I would also like to get an actual diesel generator and like the back too. That is like a backup. That's my dream. That's what I really want. Awaken 34 for 1 says, as soon as you said that Sam is basically taking Hollywood types down the peg, I was sold. Happy to do some advertising for Sam, I guess. All right. Now these are from this stream. Racist softshell crab for $6.79 says, with kids getting out of school soon and it warming up across the country, expect a lot more power outages. Since you were last home, street racing has gotten really bad. Also, power grids are so mismanaged and overtaxed, a hot day can take down an entire grid. Oh, wonderful. Happy to hear that our first world country is in tip-top shape. Total banker death for 3 says, fuck banks, fuck journos, buy and use XMR at a pure spite. Neba Hail Hitler. Ghost of Apollo Legend for 172 says, congratulations, you made me, of all people, actually like Billy Mitchell. I imagine the green card wife didn't sign up to be a bankrupt albino and will be filing for divorce any day now. That remains to be seen. It's definitely possible. Neba Hail Hitler for 170 says, is he the greatest artist of this music generation? And there's an art drama link. which is apparently about how all the streaming services are removing his latest song, which I'm not surprised by. Kurt Eichenwald, anime masturbator for 10, says his previous anime Samurai Champloo. Yeah, wait, this is in reverse. Glorious Kiwi Emperor, I can't believe that you didn't listen to my review of Lazarus. I need everyone to know, I need the world to know. Shinichiro Wanatabe, creator of Cowboy Bebop, put out dirty tranny in his anime. Before that, he put a gay Dutchman in his previous anime, Samurai Champloo. The Einstein line said was off screen to our token scholar character. This caused him to chimp out and punch his college professor, even though he's a 1,000 IQ genius. Shame for you. Yeah, I'm not surprised that there are trannies in anime, bro. Inaccurate Josh Corrector for 170 says, I like how you know nothing but about drugs. Nitrous oxide is chemically active in the body. Most of its effects are caused by an NMDA receptor agonist. Also, it does not kill brain cells. Next time you ask on the drug cert on the forum first. Okay, sorry. I confused nitrous oxide with duster, I think. Because it's kind of similar in how you take it. Non-autistic sex haver for 170 says, Josh is so autistic that he doesn't realize that asking, hello, female, would you like to engage in intercourse with me is kind of a mood killer. Saying, do you want to have sex is not a mood killer. I don't know why you would think that unless you've never had sex. Innocent Victim for 170 says, when I was 18 and went to a... And by the way, I explicitly said, if you are not sure, you can ask. But generally, if they're engaging in foreplay, it should be really obvious. Like, if you're... I don't know how that's controversial unless you're like retarded and just trying to pretend that you're like a big pimp or something. Innocent Victim for 170 says, when I was 18 and went to a locale convention in Odessa, I saw Josh and with Star Trek. He had sex with me and afterwards gave me a true and honest sticker as a reward I feel used. Did not happen. Completely deny. David Lammy for one says, should have come to England. No. Monero Monkey for 250 says, early and straight, it's good to be white. Base. Sneedo for one says, you got blown the fuck out by a Mexican drunk driver, didn't you? Apparently. Rib Zizzle for 2 says, Josh, where can I download that Shiloh Hendrix pop mix from the intro? Just say, I want to say N tonight on YouTube. It's pretty viewed. Ratlord111 for 2 says, Null Invictus. Thank you. Blurt Bloop for 2 says, the rest of the money I would have given you went to a piece of butt. Also, sorry. Also, Locals bites the big one. I can't even view the content I pay for. Really? You should complain, bro. I don't know what... Why not? That sounds like a fucking problem you should be contacting support about. Amir Al-Quesadilla Ibn Fahida, for one, says, Josh, this seems to be a difficult question for some people to answer. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In front of Congress, I just said. Oceanic Fruit, for 20, says, I did my part supporting freedom in the American way by donating to the Kiwi Farms Gifts and Go. Did you? I hope everyone did. Thank you. I appreciate it. Blurt Blue, for 2, says, are you aware that you are also an anti-hero figure, right? I'm very nice. I don't know how anyone could have an issue with me. Oceanic Fruit for 2 says, P.S. Give a comparison of the campaign from beginning of the stream up until now. Let's see where it's at. It's at 19,000. It might break 20,000 before the stream is over. We'll see. Maybe if I read Super Chat slow enough, it'll break 20. I'm actually kind of impressed. I didn't think we'd hit 20,000 because I'm just asking for a little bit. That's very nice, though. It was at 4,000 at the beginning, I think, or 6. It had just hit 6,000 at the beginning because 2 people donated $1,000 each and bumped it up real fast. Indomitable for 5 says, did you see 135,000 H-1B visas were approved for the 2026 fiscal year? Yesterday's news, but Jaguar is owned by Tata Motors. We need to build a physical wall and internet firewall around India. Very based and very true. No, we need to be issuing negative H-1B visas. I don't fucking understand it. We do not need them in the country. Oh yeah, Tata Motors is Indian too. Yeah, fuck them, bro. Crunchy K for 3 says, early and incredibly straight. Thank you. Sneedo for 1 says, by the way, Josh, that Sam had video trading works for New Onion. Oh, yeah, the person who says we have to end Sam Hyde. That's an Onion writer. So if you want to know who works for the Onion, it's fucking retards like that. Pimmelfesta for 2 says, I'm curious about the Kiwi Farms watermark and the Ricada body cam footage. I am not. I think I will watermark it, but not so intrusively. I think what I'm gonna do is, it depends. I might watermark it. I'm thinking about it. The president of Nintendo for 10 says, as a fellow base greasy strangler enjoyer, I will pay the toll so you can actually play the scene. Okay. That show is extremely. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that show is extremely not safe for work. Oh, you can't hear. All right, I'll replay that because I fucked up.
B-U-double-L-S-H-I-T. New word. A-R-T-I-S-T. Spells bullshit artist. I say again, bullshit artist.
That's a good scene. That's a good movie, but I can't ever recommend it. Oh my god. My browser my browser for streams is infested. Sneedo for one says Winnemucca has a population of 8,261. It's a small ass town with multiple casinos. If you want more places to gamble, go to Reno. There you go. Bingle Cat for 10 says this guy looks like a fat version of Gunt getting knocked out. Okay. What you doing, brother? Don't get in trouble, brother.
Do what the fuck you gotta do. What's up? Do what the fuck you gotta do. You think I'm fucking afraid of you, dude? What's up?
It does look like a fat Ralph. Oh!
I'm scared. I'm scared. I got this guy coming at me. I'm gonna get your leg.
He's out, man. Oh, his leg's fucked up because of how he fell. Damn. Damn, bro. Yeah, don't like he does this thing, by the way. I'm not like a fighter, but watch. He's like challenging this guy by ooking at him, and then watch what he does. Right before he gets hit, he like leans forward. He's like leaning forward to ook at him more, and it's like, bro, you're like presenting your fat fucking face to get punched in, and that's exactly what happened. Like, why are you? He's like, it's like the least defensive stance in the world to take. The Bugs for one says, Josh, I was looking at the archive comments and went, what the fuck is this? Sort by new. Oh. Dude, that guy is like desperate for attention. I'm not going to give it to him. Asian Tech Support for 10 says, I'm eating Deans right now. Good. Good. That's healthy. You get the vitamin Deans. Thank you. The Horse Beater for one says, never kill yourself. The Horse Beater for one says, my Oshi, enjoy your lifetime. Benjamin Fankino. Insensitive Zero produces, I like women with male sex organs, but I would never have sex with them in real life because they're not sexy in real life. Okay, buddy, Lamau. Seems to be a popular opinion there. Humble Guardsman for one says, nothing. Thank you. Dan Donojo for one says, Synth called you a pedo on his Shudcast right after sending you that email. Seems to be having some psychological issues. Tetravax for $50 says, drink the big mercury to become immune to little tuna mercury. I'm trying. I'm slowly building up my resistances, I think. Thank you. Arian Kui Generator for 5 says, Flamin' Gator are pedos. Glad Gator could bring this woman to Christ by being such a fat, disgusting pedo freak. This is a $1 donation to start a fire between you and Gator. Dude, the Gator already hates me. You don't need to encourage him. When he thinks he can get away with taking little shitty shots at me, he will. TV Deluxe for 5 says, we demand Old Bay Drunken Mess stream soon, possibly during Ricada body cam for solidarity with Nick's alcoholism. Oh man, I was gonna do it for July 4th, but if I stream the body cam footage, I'll break it out early, I suppose. Just a taste. Sneed and Feedin for one says, Josh out for blood and twisted the knife on a destitute hobo like Patrick Bateman. What's that referring to? Gator, maybe? Octavia's sales rep for 10 says, enjoy Super Chat, Streamer Child. I will, thank you. Sneed for Life for one says, do you forgive Ethan Ralph for doing white genocide with Nora? By the way, Pakistanis are Indians who follow Islam. Look, bro, with Ethan Ralph, it's whatever he can get. I don't blame him. Porglack for one says, Josh, have you grown a Fu Manchu to do a better impression of Liz Fong Jones's father? I have not, unfortunately. Kurt Eichenwald, Anime Masturbator for 5 says, Glorious Kiwi Emperor, your autistic cadence and hyena cackle, it just clicks. Thank you, thank you. Lucifer 210 for 1 says, you smoked Gouda on my charcuterie board, bish. Euclid Sneed for 5 says, I love watching Bossman Gamba his life away. Damn, that crack nice. No, he needs to stop doing crack so he stops going to jail. Sneedo for 5 says, got my degree, time for the big bucks. And then there is a video. Let's see. Innocent engineer graduates discovering the money door.
Who are you people? What do you want from me?
Well, it's people like you and our great military-industrial complex that keep the American entrepreneurial spirit alive. Let's be real. Genocider CO for 10 says, Happy Pizza Day. Thank you. Appreciate it. Fintard for 2 says, you have intruded on my sauna times again, you faggot. I didn't mean to, bro. Sorry. Monero Monkey for $20 says, no, Steiner child, you are not alone. Enjoy being stalked. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Kissy face emoji for 2 says, test. Spingle Cat for 1 says, I'm surprised you didn't cover the seething over at the Afrikaner refugees. I didn't want to do a news segment. I'm saving that for next week. Or for Friday, rather. Brianna Wu, Hyper Bimbo for 10 says, I can't believe you didn't cover the bout of IBS drama that came before you versus Ralph. Oh, bro. I did forget about that. I'll have to cover that. I even teased at that, but I didn't cover that. I'll have to talk about that next stream because I meant to do that after I had like I cut myself off because I was talking about Gator and I never circled around to it because I have the memory span of a goldfish. No Xanax needed. That's just how I am. I'll remind me to do that for next stream because that was very funny. All right. Thank you for watching on this unusual time slot. I will be back on Friday as per usual. Take it easy. Have a nice day. Thank you for supporting the Give and Go if you did. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Man, these people took my kids from me, then they paused my bank account. I have so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Think I'm stuck in the Matrix, where the fuck's my nitrous? Yes, I am a cucker, like when people fuck on my bitch. Shit that I'm posting on Twitter, they're telling me, hey, don't say that. How niggas can't see me in public, I'm driving an off-road Maybach. With all the money and fame, I still can't get my kids back. With all the money and fame, I still don't get to see my children. Niggas see my Twitter, but they don't see how I've been feeling. So I became a Nazi, yeah, bitch, I'm the nigga Highlander. Nigga Highlander. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Nigga Highlander. They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. All my niggas Nazis, nigga Highlander. Nigga Highlander. Nigga Highlander. All my niggas Nazis, nigga Highlander.
This is a cover by a small artist. His name is Baldy with 2 E's at the end. So Balde. He's going to hear his other covers. He's just taking the piss. So I don't know if he's like a super chud or whatever, but he's just taking the piss. All right, thank you. Bye bye.